Islam, are we opening up or what? I see your mic is muted.
Yeah, I think Dr. Shaheed might have dropped off. Give him a minute. Yeah, he said he was getting ready to open up
Right. Okay, gratitude, guys.
Islam.
Ali 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 Ali, yeah. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7.
Islam, 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 Moorish America. Let us rise upon the seventh and give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to His holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal, Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. But let us open up the way as we call forth our beloved Consul General of the Territory of Texas, Brother Marvin Nathaniel Ellis Bey. Islamism without the schism. Peace and love.
Islam family, yes, I'm Dr. Marvin Ellis Bey of the Texas Territory. Rising, giving all praise to the great God Allah, highest honor to His prophet, and honor to everything that is Moorish. I will be opening up our class according to law in our Moorish Adept prayer and our divine constitution. And I'll begin. Ya Allah amnuheru mekuneteru. Ya Allah ebheteru. Ya Allah ma'atheru. Ya Allah hoteperu. Ya Allah heru. Ya Allah ma'at herakuti. Ya Allah Awajet Bejuti. Ya Allah Pertem Sitek Pertem Heru. Ya Allah Bamaduti. Al Hedges Way up to Ali. Amen. Holiest, holiest, holiest. In transliteration, O Allah, the Father of the universe. O Allah, the Father of love. O Allah, the Spirit of truth. O Allah, the Spirit of peace. O Allah, the Spirit of freedom. O Allah, the Spirit of justice. O Allah, you are my protector. O Allah, you are my guide. O Allah, you are my salvation by night and by day. O Allah, through your holy prophet. O Allah, through Ali. Amen. Holy Issa, Holy Issa, Holy Issa. And now I will begin reading our divine constitution of North America. Salvation, our God, unity. The divine constitution of North America. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of North America are empowered to make law and enforce laws with the grand body of Morsi, with the assistance of the Prophet and the grand body of Morsi America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs, if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Morsi America. The bylaws, Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended into his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is our holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of North America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Morsi American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Morsi America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slave holders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the Prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children, and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother, and be industrious, and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love, and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. Now this meeting has been opened according to law. And I will now turn the meeting over to our National Grand Secretary of State of South Carolina, Dr. Dendra Neal Kirby. Islam?
Islam. I am Dr. Dendra Ania Kurtabe. First, let me rise and give praises to our great God Allah. I give honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to Act 1. I give honors to all my government officials. I give honors to our National Assistant Grand Sheik for our research class this morning. And I give honors to our Consul General of Texas, Dr. Marvin Edwards Bay, for opening us up according to law. And at this time, I will be reading, coming from our Holy Quran, chapter 52. And it reads, Holy instruction from the prophet, the social duties. When thou considerest thy wants, when thou beholdest thy imperfection, acknowledge his goodness, O Son of humanity, who honoreth thee with humanity, endowed thee with speech, and placed thee in society to receive and confer reciprocal helps and mutual obligations, protection from injuries, thy enjoyment of the comfort and the pleasure of life. All these thou owest to the assistance of others, and couldst not enjoy but in the bands of society. It is thy duty, therefore, to be a friend to mankind, as it is thy interest that man should be friendly to thee. As the rose breatheth sweetness from its own nature, so the heart of a benevolent man produces good works. He enjoyeth the ease and tranquility of his own breast, and rejoiceth in the happiness and prosperity of his neighbor. He opened not his ear unto slander. The faults and the failings of men give a pain to his heart. His desire is to do good, and he researcheth out the occasion thereof. In removing the oppression of another, he relieveth himself. From the largeness of his mind, he comprehends in his wishes the happiness of all men, and from the generosity of his heart, he endeavors to promote it. Islam, Islam, Islam. I will now turn everything back over to our National Assistant Grand Sheik, Dr. Sadu Ameti El Maheti Sepsuel. Are you there, God man?
Islamism, can you hear me, Goddess and Queen?
Islam, I can hear you well.
Gratitude. Islamism. Having already risen, we continue to rise in ascension, giving all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet. Honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal, Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and Bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything. And I do mean everything that our holy prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to give honors to that Egyptian adept master, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Man, honors to all of you as well, here, there, and everywhere that are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. I want to give honors to this grand panel of scribes as well. You know, we have a grand measure to bring to the manifest this morning. This is Egyptian Research Sultanate. You know, this is lesson 2B, second Shat, you know, the Demotic. We got a powerful measure to be brought forth from our scribes this morning. So we ask that our family most definitely have their paper and pens on handy. And we're going to go forth with what it is we have to bring. So let us call forth our first scribe to bring forth our assignment. So, Islamism. Peace and love.
Islam,
Sister Curta Bay.
Islam. You know, I always like to try to jump out there and get mine in to make sure that I did everything that was asked of us. And first, I'm going to go over here and make sure I'm going to hit the present button so I can get everything set up. Islam, share the screen. Okay. Okay. Entire screen. Then hit share. I think I had to hit. Then hit share. Okay. And I'm going to pull up my homework, family. And Dr. Shahi, you can let me know if you see something. I know it's probably small, but if you can see anything.
All right. Yeah, we see you right here. Let me blow it up a little bit for us.
Okay. Yeah, and I know I have to blow it up because it always come out small, but I will blow it up. Islam family, our assignment was searching the demotic text of your choice, extract words from the translation to create phrases of your own. And number 2 was to cite the source, place, and time period adaptation of the demotic text you use. And I think I got that one right, but I hope I did this right. Let me make this big so y'all can see it. Let me blow it up. Okay. How is that, family? Is that any better? Can y'all see anything better?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great. Okay, so family, what I did, I you say pick out a word of my choice, and I went back and I just listened to our assignment, what we did last Sunday, and how you showed us how to maneuver when you was working with us with the A. And so I picked out the alphabet B. And what I did is I went to our tool, and because I'm still learning and grasping how to maneuver on this computer, I copied and paste instead of actually going into my email and presenting the tool itself and maneuvering around like that, because a lot of times I get nervous and I'll be clicking on something and I just close the whole thing out. So to avoid that, I did a lot of copying and pasting. And so when I stopped sharing, then maybe Dr. Shahi can pull the actual tool up. But anyway, like I said, I picked out my tool. I picked out the B. And the first thing I did, I put it in a capital B, and this is what came up. This is what the capital B looked like. And after I hit the capital B, I went over to the corpus, and I went over there, and this is the same symbol of the B, and this is the little sign that they given for it, and it says heals. And they also put a G with that B. And so the next thing I did is I wanted to make sure that was what was, that was actually the B, because that's what it brought up. And it talks about the 369 most common signs in the corpus. So the next place I went over to my variants. And as you can see right here, that's the B right there. And also, well, that was the B right there. And some of it was family. I don't know if something was going on with the program or something, but sometime it would come up and sometime it wouldn't. And for the variants, when I was clicking on, sometime it'll pull up more and sometime it didn't. So I don't know if it was Google or what, but anyway, this is what they pull up with the variant. But nevertheless, I wanted to make sure you know, that everything was lining up. So what I did, and I may not have to do this, but what I did is I pulled up the Akutu, and as you can see down here, you can see over here in the compass, you can see that little symbol. I know we don't go by the signs, but it says the Akutu say that this means heaven, earth, water, land. And as you can see, it means hills. All right. So the next thing I did is I went to and I also clicked on the this is what it looked like. So you can see the similarities in the Old Kingdom and the Sixth Dynasty. But I still wasn't satisfied. I still wanted to keep searching. And like I said, I just got involved and absorbed in trying to make sure that this, you know, this was the right B. And I'm seeing the similarities. And then I pulled up my molar tube. I love old molar tube. And as you can see in the third dynasty, you see that symbol there, and you can still see the similarities there. And then it gave me this word, HAST. I'm thinking that's Haset, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but that word kept showing up as I continued to do my research. And I went after I did the multitude, I went to the demotic list, and there again you see that it's HAST, that Haset. And I thought, you know, and then it says it means desert, you know, dealing with land, hills or whatnot, and from the necropolis, and it say foreign country, foreign land, and there's that word again that I found in the demotic. And so I'm still trying to search it out, make sure this B is that, you know, that I got everything right. So I even pulled up Thor's list. And as you can see again, it's saying foreign land or desert. And there's that Haset. Might not be pronouncing right. I'm still unfolding in these pronunciation family. But anyway, you can see it say foreign land and desert. And also in the clarified up here, it says mountain, foreign land, and desert. So everything is still lining up with that. And up here in the description on the Thor's list, it says the hill country, because remember my first meaning was it said hills, right? And so it says the hill country over the edge of the cultivated area. All right. Now, after I make sure that I wanted that was the B, because it looked straight different to me. The next thing I did using the tool is I went to the word contents. And when you go to the word context, I clicked on that, and they added the BT or whether IABT. And so when I clicked on that word context, of course, it's going to bring up the adaptation. And when it brought up the adaptation, this is the closest papyri that looked similar to the one that I had in my, in the very beginning right here. That was number 2 out of 2, and E.A.R.S. And as I continued to click, I went on to when I clicked on this in that tool, you click on the papyri or this alphabet here. Yeah, it's gonna pull up the information about it. And so the information here again, you can see it's it's resembling it, and then it's got the object in the Trismegatus. This is the number for it, It's 46745. And you can click on their family and get some more information. But Dr. Shahi said last time, he said we didn't have to go in there. So since I'm still learning, I'm trying to grasp everything as I go. And since he said I didn't have to worry about that right now, so I didn't worry about clicking on there to try to go any deeper in that one. And also you got the TLA. You can click on that. But I didn't try to do that because I'm trying to keep my little mind focused on what I'm doing, not really knowing if I'm going in the right direction. Just I'm just working, and we'll see how it all could turn out. And because that's the way we did last Sunday in the class. But anyway, the date of the writing you can see at 310 to 309 BCE. And when I saw the 310 to 309, I started thinking, I said, oh Lord, this probably gonna be something with Ptolemy in it, because I know the 300s, I know the 325 AD was when they created Jesus stuff and gave us all that. So I'm already leery at what I'm gonna find here. And then it say the place of the writing is Hakoris, that in parentheses, Tene. And then it says the justification of the date. It says educated guess. I said, okay, so they don't really know if this was found in her chorus or not, because they talking about an educated guess. So and as I stroll on down, and I saw as you can see in the little pepper in here, you can see this is my B right there, and then there that word showing up again. I was fascinated with that word just popping up. Like I say, I'm still cassette. I'm still working on my pronunciation, family, so forgive me for that. But anyway, it means desert from the necropolis. And then I went down to the phrase. As you can see, it was in it's in German, and you got the letter type. The text type is a letter. It is the alphabet, and then the material that they wrote it on was on the papers, and then it showed the last modification was 822, and so the next thing I did, I clicked while I'm in that program. I clicked on the open image. And so this is my B in the papers. And so that's why you see it here. And sometime in that papers, and like I say, I'm still learning that too. Sometimes it don't show real good. And I'm still trying to figure out how to click the color and make it where you can see it real good. You'll see it in my next, but don't ask me how I got there. I'm just playing around with it. But anyway, this is the B in the papyrus. And I didn't blow the whole papyrus up and click on that, because like I say, I'm just focusing on finding the B. And then I went, I clicked on the open text. When I clicked on the open text, this is what it brought up. As you can see, it was already highlighted. And here's the B right here. You can see it here. And it's on line 6. And then as I continued to, it was in German. This is it here. And then I highlighted it, and I clicked on it, and it says in that line 6, it says, on its pedestal with Sekhet, Lord of Minerva. And I clicked in the text on that same line, and this is the interpretation of that line right here. And so Dr. Shaheed, do you have any questions for me before I go to the next alphabet? I don't know if I'm doing everything.
Let me give you a drawing.
Okay.
You're doing good work on what it is that you were doing. However, I can see that you probably won't go into the aspects, of the phraseology, because
Mm-hmm.
I see you going alphabet for alphabet.
Uh-huh.
We were looking more for words, but you definitely brought out some information in this, no doubt.
Okay.
You did the research like well and on precise. Like if we was dealing with just the letters,
Uh-huh.
you would be on point. And just by you pulling it up, if you were to scroll back down, I'm gonna show you something since you put this in here. Scroll all the way back to your beginning,
Okay.
the first slide, right there. That little bottom piece say Old Kingdom 6 Dynasty.
Uh-huh.
What we can actually see, even though that word is Hasiyut, Haseyut, or even Haset, if you want to say it that way,
Uh-huh.
we can tell because it's saying that's the letter B right there.
Mm-hmm.
In this particular drawing here, and we have our particular letter B that we have in our alphabet chart. However, we can actually see how the sound shift for B, in the Demotic relates to the letter P in hieratic to a certain degree, because that symbol is also a symbol for the letter P. So remember how we say sound shift and B and P actually relate to each other?
Mm-hmm.
We can actually see the transition between the demotic and the hieratic, so to speak. Even
Right.
though we know that's the hieratic at the bottom, if you were to go to the hieratic, and look it up,
Mm-hmm.
because that would be the symbol that relates to what they call the house.
Okay.
Normally when you see the house or whatever, they put it there. And here in this particular aspect with what they call the desert, which is they gave as an example in your findings, Abydos, which
Mm-hmm.
is actually said to be a place that was sacred to Alsar. Actually, this is, if you go back to that word Abydos, you can see it's actually Abtu.
Okay.
That's how they express it up there in your writing, if you look at it. And that's a part of Prophet Noble Drew Ali name, El Hedget Shepsis Ray Abtu. See it
Oh.
right there?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that A, and we know that basically is ABT in all actuality.
Uh-huh.
That's what it's stating. Abtu.
Yeah.
Abtu Ali. And that is the replaced word for Abdul.
Okay.
Dude in the comedic context. So you brought out a lot of information there in relation to dealing with that letter B. You did a good job in mapping all that stuff up. Like it's on point. You know what I mean? But
Uh-huh.
I think what you did, you overworked. Because you're dealing specifically with the letter as opposed to
The word.
finding the words and then creating your own phrase is what we were looking for. But
Oh, okay.
you really went overtime in what it was that you were doing. I did a good job though. You didn't miss nothing, so it was meant for us to get that anyway. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So
All right.
you can keep going on with whatever it is you have, and then
Well, it basically I got the same thing for the next one, and so since I didn't I just did the next alphabet G, and I basically did the same thing that I did there. And as you can see, I went to my attestations, and then it meant grain and variance and stuff. And then too, my I don't know if it was the computer or was it the program, because that's why I say at one time when it did the variant, um, it had like about 6 of them come up, and then when I clicked on it again, then before come up, and I don't know if it was they was working on it or what, or was it my internet or what, but I really didn't get to finish that one because it was like uh, um, when I tried to do the translation, it wasn't translating right, and I already had, so I know it was working right, I know I was doing it right, but it didn't. So I'm thinking, I don't know, it might have been Google because I know he said this program only works on Google and another program. So, but anyway, nevertheless, I did basically the same thing with the G that I did with the B, and so that's all I had. And I'm gonna I want to see how my Moorish kid did. Let somebody else come for Islam. Gratitude.
Yeah, and Islamism, sister, and good job too, cause that first um thing that you brought forth, they brought it forth as a letter
Uh-huh.
in the Demotic, but in all actuality, we can also see it relates to dealing with what we call, indicator,
Okay.
because it was actually referring to a place. And that's what I was saying. Like when you go into Kemet, we deal with people, places, and things, just like that represent a place and not an alphabet per se and a letter per se. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? This is what we getting at. So they are actually using the place Abydos, in other words, as a representation of the letter B in your findings. So,
Okay.
but Abydos is a place. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Uh-huh.
As opposed to dealing with a letter in the traditional sense of what we deal with when we talk about phonetics. So
Islam.
we actually had a class too. Not a class, a situation. I was on there talking to the brothers, and I see they took it down.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because the brother was going in the beginning. I wish I would have recorded it.
Right.
He was going in. Our brother Sinetta was going in on our Hebrew family because they was out there slandering him, and so he was given a drawing, and I just so happened to be called in, and I gave my particular portion, and we was up till like, man, I think we was up till 6 o'clock
Uh-huh.
because Sinetta went to bed and Reggie them. So we had a good conversation. Problem is, they was trying to come forth with what they came forth with. And it was real. It was, man, I wish y'all could have seen it because he went and called this guy from the UK. And this guy was supposed to come sit me down or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So I was asking him for the alphabet chart. And he actually tried to pull up, a chart that's supposed to predate Champollion, as far as the alphabet chart. And this was supposed to be the chart of the ancient Egyptians, what I was thinking. He said he had it. And so Reggie was like, no, brother, don't do it. This going to kill the discussion we supposed to have if you do that. And I say, no. He said he got it, so let him pull it up.
Right.
It don't hurt nothing about our discussion. And so the brother pulled up the chart. He pulled up the chart, and I actually have it in my slides that I supposed to have the discussion with. He pulled up the chart of Ibn Washi, the one that the Arabs created with Arabic in it. What he did that for?
I know, right?
Well, I'm like, what in the world? Are you really kidding me? You done pulled up a chart of the Arabs? Brother, I didn't ask you to pull up no chart of no Arabs. And first and foremost, I went into it. I told into it. I say that the Arabic letter don't even correspond with the letters that they have in Champollion. And the P came up in that chart.
Oh.
So, but it was the letter N is what the Arabs had put up there for what they call P. So I was like, brother, it's saying this is the letter N here. So does that correspond with Champollion? No. And then he had to eventually admit and say, oh, I thought you was talking about something else, but really he knew what I was talking about. He thought
he knew.
chart, and he exposed himself. So it was terrible. And people were like, oh my God, like Commission is beating these guys up early in the morning. And we wasn't. It was a fun conversation actually. We were laughing at everything, but it didn't look good. So I can guarantee ones really wanted that demonstration. They're took down.
Right.
Boy. And they kept going. So I pulled up a lot of things and I was showing it to them.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, y'all really, this is not what y'all really want. But I hope they still want to have a discussion after all that. It might have scared them off a little bit, but
they tried to come up with something.
yeah, they was definitely they was trying to do it, and every time they would come up with something, it was looking crazy. Like you done went and got this guy, and he's supposed to be an expert, one of our brothers from over there in the UK, and he looking crazy out here. He out here arguing on something that he have no knowledge of and saying, you're not making sense. And the people like, no, you ain't making sense.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and everybody, even people that was against me, normally was like, "Oh my goodness, the brothers out here catching bodies. This is terrible." You
Yeah.
know, the commission is, you know, dealing with everybody on the panel. Like, what
That's
is y'all doing? You know, they was like, it really blowed their minds, and it basically exposed that our people got to start reading. But yeah,
right.
I seen that symbol, and I was pointed out, you know, because normally they use the term per for
Uh-huh.
house, and you will see that symbol right there in the way they try to translate it as a determinative of what we call indicators or anaglyphs.
Okay.
And so that first letter, it was, you know, it was striking to me that when you did that, I was able to see that transition from the letter B into P, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
You know, and also there's a relationship between the letter B and M in sound shifting, is what I'm talking about. And if
Right.
you go in Brother Mustafa Gadala's book, you can see it.
Okay.
So yeah, but you brought out some good information there. I like what you did.
It's
I see you
long.
know how to. You showed me you know how to use your tools.
Yeah, I'm
That's
learning. I'm
one
learning.
beautiful word. You can only get greater, you know. But that methodology is very powerful. What you did right there, and you know, martial law in the future, you know, you'll bring forth more.
It's long. It's long. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna, yes, yes, yes. And sometimes I get confused about the instructions and stuff. And but like I said, I'm still. It was a good experience for me to play around with that too, and to just looking and getting used to everything being right there. Where as you know, we used to have to close this out, pull the motor tool up, pull a cool tool up, but now everything is right there. And I even tried to play with the Chicago dictionary, but when I pull up the alphabet, like the B and the G, and when I pull up the Chicago, it didn't come up in the space coup all the what the references is. It didn't come up there. I had to go all the way to the bottom of the page and hit on it like that. And when I watched you last Sunday, I know you clicked on it, and I didn't understand how you got it to come up under there. I don't know if it's because you were using the alphabet A or how that worked, but I'm gonna figure it out. Islam.
Yeah, no, it's the CDD section in the tool where you open it up, and the
Uh-huh.
Chicago, you know, it's actually the abbreviation for it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it didn't come up, and it didn't come up. The only thing came up was the Thor, the coup.
yeah. You got to go in there and click on the actual papyri, and then
Oh,
it'll
okay.
pull it up, and then it'll open that function up in there for you.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, Islam.
Then it'll change it from just the Aku and the thesaurus lingua egypta. It'll take all that off, and you'll see the other portions up there. You just
Oh,
got to go back to that video I did, you know,
yeah.
and we can go into it. Marshall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe you had to give us a private class that just walk us through this so we can see how to do it. Islam.
Islam,
Gratitude,
gratitude.
family. That's my measure. Islam.
Yeah, and always too, don't forget to use your chart. You know, or even the one that I had created, but you know, the chart you created last week
Uh-huh.
to match up the actual alphabet and the letters and so forth and so on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had it.
You
I
know,
had it
that
out.
that that you can use that to vet, you know, the exact alphabet being used,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and
Okay.
know the difference between the variants. So Islam,
Islam. Gratitude.
gratitude, goddess and queen, peace and love.
Peace and love.
All right, Islamism, Islam. Next scribe,
Islam.
Islam, Islam, brother Bati Bey.
Jump out here. Islam. First, I'd like to rise and give all man the praise to Allah, honest to the Prophet, honest to our theocratic government, our royal council, our flag, seal, emblem, our divine constitution, our swift angels, mufti, citizens alike, honest to all the Moors that are in attendance, all the ones in the sound of my voice. And I am about to share screen. Honest to Dr. Shaheed for this class. Entire screen. There we go. Okay. Islam. Islam. Oh, there we go. This me. Okay. Hold on now. Wait, what's going on? Oh, maybe because I got to do this. Yes, this is it right here. Okay, so give you guys. I lost my flash drive. They got all my information, all my resources on it, and I don't think I lost it. I'd say it said I left it at a place when I was going to get some documents printed off. So I did this. It says searching the demotic text of your choice, extract the words from the transliteration and translate to create phrases of your own. It says cite the source, place, and time period of the recitation of the demotic text you use. So I went searching on the internet and I found this said demotic text, and it's the will of Antef Meri. And when I was looking at what was the will of Antef Meri is a papyrus document that was retrieved from Luhum Fayum Governorate, Egypt. It was written and it says Hieratic in the Hieratic script, and it I didn't, but anyways, written in Hieratic script and is still in good condition, but fade at the edges. That will leave office. That the will leaves offices and property on the recto and endorsement on the verso. It dates back to the 12th dynasty, year 39 of Amenemhet the third. The will is currently housed at the Petrie Museum of Egypt Archaeology at the University of London. And so what I did was, and I thought I plugged into Demotic, but I think that they don't, the ones that are posting these pictures of they when you type in Demotic, it brings up Hieratic. And yeah, we know from the research that they're linked closely, but it's not, most people are not going to recognize it just by looking at it. So the line that I recited it, translated was this right here, this line right here. And I tried to get as far as I could with this, but I didn't, because of this one right here. Really, this part started to stump me right here, because I don't recall any of from the Demotic I don't recall this character right here. So what I got was from this portion right here up to that point is, I should have just took that out, but I didn't. It says Ir-a Eri Ren, and it says, if as two mounds of ruins, a door, and the name of the king. So this might have been when, and he says that it's talking about the property on the recto and endorsement of the verso. And I didn't get into the definition of the verso or the recto or whatever it is, but it has something to do with the property. Then it pans out that in this area that they're talking about had to deal with them preserving, and it says it's a will. So it was basically the king. And then what makes me also think that this was a Ptolemaic, because it said king. And I don't think that in the 39th dynasty, the 12th dynasty, year 39, that they were underneath the kingship. I thought that came later. Later when I thought the kingship came later, but maybe not. But it was basically leaving or preserving this area of that said king, or it just said, well, we know Ren also means name, so it could just be the name of the Amenemhet the third, and preserving that as like a historical place that they would give honors to, because there was other different parts of the translation that I was looking up, and it was basically, it's like, it says like something that said drive away, in the earlier part of the text, it was talking about driving away the vultures or the birds, or it might have said the oppressed by the transliteration. So I bet it was more so a time that they were giving honor to that king and to really try to clean up the area and preserve the area. So they were trying to drive away all the the buzzards. That's what I got from it. I don't necessarily say that that's a definite transliteration, but that's what I pulled from this section right here. And then when I started looking up in here for a clearer conception of what this document was saying. And that's really all I have, Islam.
Islamism. Yeah. I think he kind of went a little bit left, but we give honors to what it is that you showed in your skill of being able to transliterate some measures from the hieratic, a powerful drawing. Remember, we trying to put phrases together with words that we find from the Demotic. So in other words, it's a grand measure you brought forth, which is contributing, and showing your scribesmanship, so to speak, that you can actually go into the document and transliterate. But we're more looking for going into the actual Demotic and then bringing forth, the phrases with just words. It's real, just pulling different words out and, utilizing them words in the way that you would see them fit. That's what we were looking for in this assignment. But nevertheless, you definitely added on to the bill, good brother. Islam,
man. And that's what I was looking up Demotic. Like I said, if I had my flash, I gotta go get it up around. Well, the place is open now, but I gotta go get that flash drive because it does mean different when you got all your tools with you. So
yes, sir. And you remember the assignment was searching the Demotic text of your choice and extract words from the transliteration and translation to create phrases of your own. Islam. Yes, sir. But gratitude for the work that you definitely demonstrated right there, because that is also a measure of inspiration, good brother. Like I said, definitely show that you know how to go into the text, and bring forth measures. That is definitely something that's going to be needed in the future. Islam. Gratitude, scribe.
Gratitude.
All right. Islamism. Okay, next scribe.
Islam,
Grand National Secretary of the State.
Islam, National Assistant Grand Sheikh, Islam family. First of all, I want to rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our Consul General of Texas, Dr. Marvin Edwards Bay, for opening our meeting according to law, to our National Grand Secretary of South Carolina, Dr. Dendra Nia Bay, for reading our chapter for the week and also for registration, to our family online, to our panel, and also to Act One and our host instructor of our E.A.R.S class, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shedo Amenti El Mohamed Shepsuel. Islam family. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Now let me know if you can see it, family.
Oh, yeah, we got you in.
All right, gratitude. So right before class, I tell you, my computer said,
we lost your audio, Grand Secretary of the State. You still there? I think our Grand Secretary of the State's computer, something going on over there. Give it a minute to come forth. She may even have to reboot. Who knows? Hopefully she can hear us right now, because I know she's getting ready to bring it.
Islam. And Dr. Shahid, I think something might have been going on with these computers, because mine ain't never acted this way. For some reason, this thing, mine was just going crazy. I mean, they would pull up stuff, and then I couldn't pull it up on my main computer that I work with. Then I could pull it up on my laptop. There she is. She back?
She went out. We got to call, get her back in here in a second.
Yeah, she called back in.
Okay, once she come back in,
See if
Yeah.
if I can retrieve the. Oh, that's about to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if since why she's probably trying to come back in, I wonder what they're gonna say when they find out that Champollion said that the Egyptian was the Moors.
Oh, he did.
I wonder where they rock with Champollion then, since he's so right.
Oh my goodness.
Fire in the hole.
See, y'all didn't even know about that.
I didn't know that.
Hey, yeah, I wonder what they gonna say when they find that out.
I know,
I
right?
told you, I told them all they got to do is leave it alone, and I won't be finding this.
I
stuff.
know, right?
This is crazy.
Hey, I'm glad they stirred you up, because
Yeah.
I love it. I be watching them videos, man. I be loving some stuff.
Yeah, you done went and did it right.
Yeah. You done bet. You done
You
poke
went
that
and did
tail
it.
long enough.
Everybody, man, they done went and did it, man.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I got 2 more books. If the Moors would like to get them.
Yeah, I definitely got to check that out, because that's a.
I mean, this
That's
was.
crazy.
I got one book, Sheikh Anti-Diop book, African Origin of Civilization, Myth of Reality, which I had it already in PDF, but I was able to find it, and he definitely be going in on Champollion them in him. But then, because I had this one years ago, and then I got The Ancient Future by Wayne B. Chandler, and it has an introduction by Ivan Van Sertima. And he actually speaks on the Moors in here. He got a book he read, I think, The Moors, The Light of Europe, or something like that. There, I probably end up getting that book to check it out. But he got some powerful information in here. He showed different phenotypes of, different people here and there. So, yeah, some grand drawing, so to speak, off in here. You're dealing with the 7 Hermetic principles.
Did you order it, Dr. Shahi? What did you order?
I bought it out of the store. I was I always go to Barnes and Noble, when I get a chance, and these 2 right here was there. I actually had Franz Ferdinand, The Wretched of the Earth, but when I seen these 2 here, I had seen The Ancient Future being advertised somewhere, and I was like, okay, well, I get these 2, and I get the other one later, The Wretched of the Earth. Because I read that one years ago, Franz Ferdinand. But yeah, so I just grabbed these 2 right here for now, for the moment. I still gotta read my other
check so I can see how to spell it and see if I can find them.
Oh yeah. Okay, I Grand Secretary of the State back, and we'll get it in there for you. Islam.
Gratitude.
Islam, Grand National Secretary of the State.
Oh my goodness.
Oh Lord, man, we already knew something was going on.
Woo, gratitude, Dr. Dender, for the call. I'm like, who is this calling me?
I was just checking on, make sure you tried to get back in there.
No, I was still talking.
Yeah, and oh man.
Oh wow.
All right. We're gonna do this again. I tell you, this is not the day. We're gonna do this again. I'm going to deal with presenting again. Share the screen. And where did I leave off? Does anybody remember?
You just showed that, and we didn't even see nothing else.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Well, All right, we're this was the assignment, Moorish Ken. Pardon itself. Searching the demonic text of your choice. Extract words from the transliteration and translation to create phrases of your own. Cite the source, place, and time period attestations of the demonic text you used. Okay, so I basically stuck with the DP tool, the most recent tool that we had. I pulled up the letter, the capital D. Okay. To me, it looks like the little snake thing, but this is the character in the capital D demonic lettering. The variants show the same thing. Now, I was playing back and forth with this word context and variance in reference to deselect all and select. But the first word that I used was the SHD, Sahij, which means to illuminate. Okay. And the attestations is coming from Acropolis. And in selecting that a special box, it pulled up that the date of writing is 513 BCE, place of writing Acropolis. This is similar on the papyri itself. And you see the word SHD, which means to illuminate. And that's the character there. And if you look at, let me blow this up a little bit. Okay, if you look at the actual line from the papyri, you see this singled out as well, and that is the SHD. And going down, I did open up the text. Now, when I did Google Translate the first time, the word SHD was illuminated, okay? It was your forefathers who were priests here and illuminated this temple with everything. I said, okay. And that's that word there dealing with illuminated. And that's the Google Translate, okay? Now, the papyri text, that's the symbol in yellow, or the word in yellow, pardon self. Sahaj. And again, it means to illuminate. Pulling from the demotic text, the VI.14, we see the SHD here. So the German translation pulling from VI.14 was this line here. And you see that Erlektekten, which is a variant of that. So the second time I pulled up the Google Translate, it actually stated it was your forefathers who were priests here and lit up. So that in itself, depending on who was the one doing the translating, illuminate is a lot more specific than lit up. Okay. So I said, And now when I went to the lowercase d, the word that came up was PD, or knee and foot, which is petty. And I was looking at it in this particular language now, where we deal with pedicure, manicure. I said, okay, now that makes sense. So you can see this is definitely a strong word because we use the variant from this root even today. So this is what the lowercase d looks like. And we see that here in the variants. And again, I'm using the word petty, which is knee or foot. The attestation, Panopolis. And if you look, you see PD, which is knee and foot. I did open up the text on that in yellow, line 1I or 1.6. Here is the lowercase d symbol. Well, it's actually petty. That's the transliteration of the demotic. And right here is where you see that. It's got like a little raised equal sign with the K. German translation is this. And then dealing with the Google Translate, may your feet walk for you. So you see that word feet or foot. May your feet walk for you. May your ears be open to you. May your tongue be open for you. So that's the word knee and foot. Now, I also, with the lowercase d, pulled out the word Sened. Still dealing with the same lowercase symbol. The SND is to fear. Attestation. Acropolis. Date of writing 513 BCE.
Islam, Grand
Yes,
Secretary of
sir.
State.
Yes, sir.
When you show that part, can you enlarge it, like blow your screen up a little bit more? Because we
Which
can
one?
see just either one of them that you're showing. Like if you can blow the whole thing up, it would be nice.
Okay.
And like you probably can just move it from side to side. That way the people can see the detail in what
Okay.
you're
Of
showing.
the actual. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And now you see where you can actually go down there where it says 100% in your corner.
Yeah.
And you can drag that over a bit and it'll bring it up. It'll zoom it in so that they can see it a little bit more. You know, because over here it's kind of, there we go. Ooh, you went, oh.
Oh, yes.
You got it way up there. Okay.
That better?
Yeah, that's better. That's good. And then you just scroll it up if you can and just move it from side to side with that little bar at the bottom.
Okay, right here.
Yeah, and it'll let us be able to see it. But that's perfect right there.
Okay, praise the Lord.
Whatever you want to show us, you just scroll to it and you can move it side to side.
All right. So the to fear, you see it's highlighted here in that looks like a an angle almost in bronze or what have you. That's the demotic line that it pulled from the papyri. Okay, let's see where. All right. And then I did open up the text on that. Coming from the papyri, I did open up the text. Now, again, the word is Sened. That's the German of it, to fear. This is the demotic text that it pulled from. You see it right here. And then you also see it repeated right here. Sened. The transliteration. Right here and right here. So you see it's repeated twice. And dealing with Google Translate. Stop respecting you. Come. I will have Amasis, the prophet of Horus, write you a letter. I myself will write a private letter to you, or letters which you will respect more than the Sentes letter.
Islam.
Islam.
And I don't mean to be cutting in your beard.
All is well. All is well.
And this is just jumping for joy is what I'm doing right now. Woo, woo, woo. Because I always tell our people the word prophet is actually used in these Egyptian texts.
Islam.
Because people think that they don't be used. Notice it's a prophet of Horus. And
yes,
they are,
right
which
here.
is prophet of Heru. You know, it's right. And you can see it also in the German, right? You know, but also they have the prophet Amun as well. So I just wanted to point that out, man. You just bringing out all types of stuff. Let me sit back and look at this thing right here. Eat my divine popcorn.
Woo!
Go ahead.
The German, see, the German was what was fascinating to me, because I always had the premise that this stuff is hiding in these other countries in their language, you know, and we could see, you know, yeah, we know what you got, you know, and we're going to try to bury it with this stuff. So I next went to the capital W. And now this is the word that came up with TAW, which is ta. And now this one, I actually saw a formula in the papyri, because the TAW, which is ta, and then they had a HT TAW. And well, the first word means sail, wind, or breath. And then this one, you see the TAW and TAW here. So this one means masked, this phrase here. And this is what it looks like as far as the uppercase W is concerned. See, one has a dot, one does not. Now I chose the word TAW, wind or breath. I didn't mess with leaf because this one had the W in it. The attestations, I selected the Memphis one. And if you can see, it's got that long stick with looking like a tall Y. Okay. Over here as well. Now, the information on this one, the date of writing was 332-30 BCE, place of writing unknown. Here it is again. And if you note under there, you see that again. Now, this one, which is pronounced Ket Chow, means masked. But you see, it still has this TAW in it. And looking over here, you see the TAW meaning wind and breath. Okay, so just on the variations of these two words, and of course, I went to the papyri itself. Okay, where are you? Let me go down some more. Okay, now in yellow, wind. Okay, now you see that two and what looks like almost a question mark or what have you when you add those two together, because in the actual papyri itself, when I hovered over just this letter highlighted in yellow, it came up with the TAW. But when I highlighted over this, it combined these two and it came out to HT-TAW, which means masked. So that to me, okay, that's a formula. That's why I just highlighted it for my own knowledge here. And second line, you notice here, this is that word masked. We have the HT and then also the TAW. All right, now in the transliteration itself, and this, what line is this pulling from? RTO.X plus 2 or 11.2. So I went to the German. We have that RTO X plus 11.2 right here. Is where I plugged in for Google Translate, those two lines. And in essence, what I got was a mast that rises up by being 100 yardsticks in length by 3 yardsticks in diameter at its foot and by 1 yardstick in diameter at its top, is set in copper. When it arrives, the mast is taken out of its mouth. So then dealing with the lowercase w, which looks almost like an angle, but now they've added almost a backward C to it. Okay. This is it under the variance. And you see a dot and another symbol here. But the word I selected from this lowercase W was farmer, W-Y-A. And I pronounce it as Waya. Now, attestations, Sachibu. And you can kind of see that a little with like a backward C on this. It's coming from Sachibu. The date is 159 BCE. Found in Sekhet, which we have that in our Quran. And you also see it over here. W-Y-A, farmer. Okay, right here. Now going further. Here it is. Coming from the papyri, I open up the text of the papyri. It's highlighted in yellow on line 11. And you see that right here as well. Okay, W-Y-A, which is this. German transliteration of line 11 is here. Google Translate, the farmer. We provided him with 54 artaben barley, 50 artaben emmer. Now, when I did the lowercase w, again, same symbol, but this time I used another word dealing with WDA, to be sound and healthy. Now, you also see down here WDA, Wajet, dealing with the I. We hear Unc Wajet Sanab. I said, okay, yeah, that's all right. Praise the Lord, getting somewhere. And again, look at this symbol, what looks like a V and then a backward C. Right here. It's coming from Thebes West, 10 BCE. Let's come over here.
Islam,
See that?
Grand Secretary.
Islam.
Oh yeah, I'm loving this right here. And then just point out that's the Rhine mathematical papyrus, which is why you see measurements going. And I'm loving how you doing this without putting no pictures up there.
Islam.
Straight Demotic.
And when I went to the text assistant grand sheik, they had the title up there, and then they had an explanation in English saying that it was a mathematical papyri. I just didn't put it down there, but gratitude, yes. And we see the WDA here, and you see it highlighted here. That's the actual word itself right here. And of course, I went to the open text. This is the lowercase w. This is it, highlighted. Line 11.D9, transliteration. Right here, WDA. And that's the DJ sound. German translation. Okay, right here. The whole line stopping right here. And Google Translate. My father Osiris will do. I want to let your limbs be whole by being Anubis in my manifestation as Terachut. Okay, your limbs being whole. That's definitely want you to be sound and healthy.
On to the leg on hitter.
I love it. Praise the Lord. So these are the words that I pulled from the SHD to illuminate, the PD, knee or foot, SND to fear, the TAW, and I put 3, but it's actually separated, but I didn't have a symbol for that. Sail, wind, and breath. HT-TAW, mast. WYA, farmer, and WDA, to be sound or healthy. Now, the phrases that I pulled. All right. Hold on. Let me get this. Shahejt. Wajhet. To illuminate is to be sound and healthy. Then this phrase, Wayet Sanad Petty, the farmer fears the knee and the foot. Well, if you break your knee and the foot, you can't work out there in the fields. I just was putting stuff together. And this last one, Taj Het Tawu. Taj, I've got to go back to my I had it written down, but anyway, the sail in the mast is breath. So that's my measure. Gratitude.
Islam. Gratitude, Grand National Secretary of the State. You did a grand job. And now you see and you notice how just by taking them words out, you see what's going on here. It's actually immersing you into the actual language, so to speak. And see just how you was able to take those phrases and do that. If we constantly do that in exercise, it's going to make us become more familiar with the mnemonic symbol. Like right now, it's stuck in my head what Wajet look like. You know what I mean? And the other signs that you put up there look like, you know, the Sined, you know, it's already in my head just by seeing you. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And this is very powerful because we're going to do more exercises like this. And you're going to see how we progress. Now, notice how you was able to pick out the Uncle Jet Sanel. You know,
Islam.
you picked it right up because it's already there. You have a pre-knowledge of it. But I love the way you did this without putting no anaglyphs up there. We dealing strictly with the demotic, and this is the way we have to do it. That way our people don't get distracted, you know, by the anaglyphs and then forget, you know, we dealing with the demotic. But you did a good job in presenting that. And then I like the way you went line by line in the end, creating your phrases. And you can actually use these phrases once we become more in depth to begin even communication with.
Islam.
So you see, this is powerful. You know, we give honors to the Aku tool, you know, and all the tools
Yes.
that we have, along with you know, the Haradache, you know, and I mean it's powerful. You know, the received stuff from our brother Nagai Masakatu Katsu. And also everything that you put there in those lines, you know, it's good that even if you go into your own time and just memorize, you know, the phraseology, and it's gonna add on to your mental Rolodex, as our brother Bati Bay would say. You know, and ours as well. So, and we literally could see certain things jumping out, even in just looking at the transliteration, words that you really wasn't dealing with. I could literally see in the transliteration certain words, and I already had the meaning of the word in my head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm pretty sure y'all was able to do the same thing. Like I say, ain't nobody doing what we doing now. You know, even though the tool exists to be able to do this, this is our own methodology, and the Google Translate bring it home every time. You know, and a lot of people were laughing when I was showing them the example with Google Translate, but they have no idea, you know, that the text that they are unable to view, like you said, in English, you know, we can go into them because we using that particular tool, and it makes it better for all of us. And sometimes you can look at some of the words in the German and you can see that it's saying also, see that it's saying heru, you know, and so because we can identify with some of those things, but some of them things, you know, we have to go and look into. And I like the relation of the shedge, because actually the shedge in the root, the SH in the D, even though they put the J there when you deal with the capital G, I mean capital J, pardon self, capital D, you know, it's jet. It actually connects, you know, to the root that they would use in Arabic for the word shahada, a shahida, you know. So yeah, I seen that connection as well. So I'm like, oh man, she talking about my name.
I was getting ready to say that looked like Shahid's name. Yes.
So you know, you had me feeling all elated over here. So man, that sound shifting is powerful as well. But man, that's what I'm talking about right there. What you did, you know, is exactly what we were looking for. And we give honors to you, and I'm pretty sure all the scribes appreciate that as well. So at this time, since we done stirred up the ethers, where you at, Brother Marvin Epps, babe? I know you ready now. Islam, you there, grandman?
Yeah, Islam. Yeah, my apologies to the class, to you, instructor. I didn't get an opportunity to tackle the assignment.
Well, that's all right. Well, brother, just give your measure on what you seen thus far, my brother. That's all right.
Okay, well, gratitude. Yeah, so this is Dr. Marvin Evans Bay. Uh, pray, okay, rising, giving all praise to the great God Allah, giving highest honors to his prophet, our prophet, Prophet Noble Ali Al Haj Sharif Abdul Ali. Give high honors to our theocratic government, our Moorish American government. Give high honors to our Act 1. I give high honors to all of our officials. I give high honors to this class, our E.A.R.S class, our Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate class, as well as I give honors to all those that aided in bringing forth this class this morning, as well as I give honors to you, Dr. Shedu Amintia Mohizip for hosting and instructing this most powerful class, as well as I give honors to uh, Act 1 and all of our officials. I give honors to the ancestors whom shoulders we stand upon, as well as the um, forerunner, Dr. Marcus Mosegava L. I give honors to the more scribes that went before me and gave such a powerful demonstration, and actually better prepared myself, you know what I mean, when I do, you know, as I move forward and go into this powerful lesson. You know, I learned quite a bit from each scribe on here. You know, and yeah, so I just need to go back and look at the playback on this one as well as the one from last week and the week before. You know what I mean? And then go into it. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for being here because I'm learning. Just like everyone in the say audience, how you put it. You know, I'm along with everyone on the panel because each more brings a portion of the understanding. And, and as I'm observing, I can't help but eat of this. And let's just say gratitude. And I look forward to my contributions going forward. Islam?
Islamism, grand man, powerful drawing, brother. You know, and yeah, most definitely, all of the scribes did well in what they presented. You know what I mean? And like I say, even in the midst of, if we veer off a little bit, we still giving our people something, you know, to uplift them. And this is just a powerful demonstration, family. It don't get no better than this. And this is simply, and I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna highlight. Let me get off in here real quick. I'm gonna share my screen. And just to go further into it, and our Grand National Secretary of the State most definitely did a grand job on pinpointing a lot of things up here. I'm trying to see here. I want to go right here to this demonstration. I'm just trying to see this here. I'm just here something. Okay. Trying to get me some exchange here. Let's see. Okay. And as you can see, we can just hit any random letter, you know, here. And then we just go down here. And I'm just clicking on something right now. I love how we can go in here and deal with the actual. Let me blow that up. Slide it over a little bit.
Islam?
Islam, brother.
I wonder if it's me. The screen is only like about a quarter size of the window.
Okay, I know what I need to do. I got to go over here and do this here. You all right? Appreciate you for letting me know, brother. Okay, there you go. Okay, so let me go back over here. And so there we go. There we go, right there. And so this right here, for example, they're using the word E.A.R.S, you know, and you can see it here. And actually, if you pay attention, you know, you can actually see that this is the letter U right here, right? Let me blow this up. But this letter U is basically interchangeable with the W in all actuality. So when you see that right there, W and U, just like when you see Neteru, you know, and it's interchangeable, you see it spelled with Neteru with W at the end, or you see it with the letter U at the end. You know, so that's based on the translator. You can see the letter R right here. You see what I'm saying? And then as we go further over, you know, we can see the Y and the T and so forth and so on, you know, as we go through these special letters. But the main measure is that we just find like she did, the Grand Secretary of the State did, and you can see actually, you know, the E.A.R.S mentioned here again. You know, you can come down in here, and the E.A.R.S, I want to see when it come to our scribes. Do you all know what the E.A.R.S is? Are you familiar with that?
Islam, the rise of the Kundalini power.
Say that again.
The rise of the Kundalini power using both hemispheres of the brain.
Yes, yeah, that's a good powerful measure you gave right there. And the E.A.R.S actually deals with the serpent, the cobra,
snake,
right?
Like coming out the crown.
Coming out of the crown. That's exactly right. It represents illumination or enlightenment. You know, and so I just wanted to point that out right there just to see, you know, where we're at. And that's what we're doing. Like the more we get into this, we'll be able to see these things and know exactly what's being said here. You know what I mean? And Islam, Brother Marvin, that was big. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
What did you say,
I,
Grandma?
I was trying to figure out what was that about they said. I know it was alluding to the same thing, but
Yeah, you say the rising of the Kundalini,
okay, okay.
which is really, we can call it saving power if you want to, you know. I mean, so I mean, I want to do this right here real quick. I'm gonna go to Google Translate and just see everything that's being said here. Let's see here, and because it's gonna come a time when we don't even have to use Google Translate so much. So once we become even more familiar with the language, so you just add it here. It's in an Arabic setting right now, but we know that this is German. So we're gonna go over here through the list and we're gonna find German. Let's see here. There we go, right there. And it should give us, see, there it go right there. It brought us right into the English translation. It say it is the second, third pile which opens before the E.A.R.S. Now this is powerful because I don't know if our family know. Let me show you what a pile is. That opens. This is speaking of the pile opening before the E.A.R.S. I'm gonna show you what a pile is. Now it says a tribe, clan, and ancient Greek and so forth and so on, but I'm gonna show you, okay. Let me see. I want to take it in the Kemet so you can see exactly what the piles are. And this, it really represents certain aspects dealing with locations is what I'm trying to show you. Like on the Nile, they have the piles, and we know we dealt with lessons of the past where we dealt with what we call the 7 chakras of the Nile, because the Nile symbolically has to do with what is within yourself as well, and those 7 seats, deal with lower and upper Kemet and so forth and so on. So obviously the upper aspects of dealing with that is where that E.A.R.S would come out at. Let's just say lower Kemet, because this is actually lower Kemet and this is upper Kemet here. Even though it looked as if this would be upper Kemet and this is lower Kemet, we know the difference. And because on the Kubalon map, this would definitely be the south and this would be the north. So when you see it, this would be like serpent power rising up, right, into the Kundalini, and once you get into this aspect, you come into most of the wisdom and enlightenment, and you get into the cataracts, and notice you'll see all of these special points right here. Iraq and Paulus, they represent centers, and there are many piles within these different centers. So you have to break through the barriers, which, in the metaphysic realm, the pile would represent a particular location, that represent a particular culture of people, you know what I mean? And what they was demonstrating. Even though all of this is part of the Nile, there are different cultural expressions throughout these different places, so put this in the context of dealing with, just like you deal with the 7 chakras. Each one of them represent a particular frequency, wavelength, so to speak. So once you're able to pass up from, the lower into the heights, then illumination become the fact. But you got to pass through the piles. You got to come through the culture. Like in the lower chakra, the culture of that chakra, if you're dealing with the body, has to do with being in flight mode and fight mode all the time. Dealing with the manifest thing and emotions and passions. And, we can go on and on and on and climb up the ladder dealing with them, but that'll be a whole lesson in and of itself. But know that these things are mentioned, by the temples. And these represent stages of initiation and unfoldment. That's just to build on what our brother Bati Bey was saying and just go a little deeper with it. So I wanted to add that particular measure on, but that's just by looking at, and I'm going to show you this right here. Because,
I got a quick question, if I
go
may.
ahead. Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
So, like, in front of the tombs, I guess, they have the stele. You know what I mean? It's like a.
Yep.
Does that have any functionality along with that?
Yeah, I mean, we can go into that right there. Anything when we get into the metaphysical aspect, you know what I mean? We know what stele is, you know. So when we go into it, for example, for the audience that's looking, right, I'm gonna show you, right? These are different stele here, right? And so a whole stele can be interpreted metaphysically. You know what I mean? If you had a knowledge of what you're looking at, you see what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother measure. That's getting down into the actual increment, so to speak. You know what? This is special drawing. So let me go here. And I'm just hitting this because they got many charts on this information. And I don't even, this is a random website, but I know I'm familiar with this information because all of the people that teach this teach it the same way. And it's actually going into the Nile chakras. And so it goes into the process of the chakras of the Nile. See, this is the Egyptian adept type material we talk about right here. And this is going on stuff. We went over this in the past, though, you know, in some of our classes before we even started dealing with the language. You know, so it says the Nile Temple Network then is a direct manifestation of the energy system of the human body. The lower energy centers of survival, sex. Remember, I was just saying that the lower self represent the survival of the fittest and the, you know, the warfare, whatever, that same thing. Once you know the system, then you know how to place it in the knowledge that you have. So it says the lower energy centers of survival, sex, and power were balanced by the higher centers of communication, intuition, and connection. In other words, when that E.A.R.S, you know, is manifested, you know, in your consciousness, when you have become fully illuminated or enlightened, you know, you can balance things out. And we call this ma'at, or did we say truth and right, right? So it says, in other words, truth and right will prevail over Set, the lower self. It says the most important chakra was therefore the heart, where these forces will harmonize. And we say that the nearest place we can meet the great God is in the heart. You see what I'm saying? So that's the purpose of the meeting, the great meeting. So it says the chakras are the energy centers of the body, and they are located along the spine. And I notice that I refer to the spine as the Nile Valley. This is symbolic to the Nile. If you're dealing with it, this same teaching from a biblical standpoint, you know, if you go in the New Testament, this would represent the Jordan River. You know, when you get into the esoteric or metaphysical. In the Old Testament, it represents the Nile, and Moses would be the key figure there. If you go into India, it would represent what they call the Ganges River in the Indus Kushite Valley civilization. So no matter where you go, where you find that sacred river that's referred to by a people on a metaphysical level, it represents the spine. It represents the stream through which one can go upward or downstream. So anyway, it goes on, and it says they are located along the spine, starting at the base and running upwards toward the crown. The chakras coincide with a gland in the physical body, and each radiates a unique color. Now, people think that this is just some old pseudoscience made up, but these are actually referred to, chakras are referred to in science as ganglionic centers. Let me show you something so our people know. The ones that think that chakras is something that don't exist. And they represent, you know, it's all a part of the central nervous system. Yeah, they just go to ganglion cells. They're actually putting it in the cellular aspect, you know, like the chakras of the cell. You know, they showing it from the cell standpoint right here, but I want to show you. Let me see. They should put it there. Put it like this here. I don't want to look for that portion. I want to see this portion, and I can actually point them out. So, you know, and a lot of this is dealing with, you know, certain aspects, and this is what I'm going at here. I can blow this up and show it to you. We can go in many different areas. So again, this is definitely dealing with the system, and we can go further because it's so complex. For example, we know the crown chakra will be found here, the throat chakra found here. We have also the solar plexus region here, heart chakra here, and we can come all the way down into these regions, which they'll show these things. But a lot of it is dealing with basically knowledge on your central nervous system. And most chakra charts will show you this. It ain't something, it's just different terminology that's being used, when you're dealing with the chakras. And what happened is when you're able to use this type of information, and tie this into the self and self-mastery, you can heal yourself. So the people that reject this knowledge, reject the ability of being able to heal themselves. Right? Okay, so let me show you here real quick too. That's the whole key behind this stuff. This ain't just some old fantasy world information. Let me see if it give it to us this way as well. We know that the common chakra chart. Okay, here's one that they give here that's pretty informative. And notice, they showing everything here. They go into the solar plexus, they go into the heart chakra, and every particular culture has their own chakra chart, family. See all this here? Notice it's showing negative, dealing with the feminine aspect of the physical expression of the body, but then you have the spiritual feminine. So in other words, I want to ask our more as a master question. If we were placing this in regards to dealing with the first man and first woman, as opposed to the physical man and physical woman, who would this represent right here in those likes between Ish and Isha? Which one represent Ish and which one represent Isha, Scribes?
Islam.
Go ahead, brother. I mean, which one represents Isha and which one represents Eve is what I meant to say.
Oh, Isha,
okay.
Isha and Eve, or you mean between the physical and the
between this one here, the spiritual feminine body and the physical feminine body.
Eve would be down at the physical body.
There you go. There you go.
And Isha would be the spiritual body.
That's right. And it will be the same when we deal with the concept of the mental masculine body. You see, in the union here, you see what I'm saying? And then you have, your emotional masculine body is often attached to the feminine aspect right here. So this is your Adam and Eve, to a certain degree. And if Adam is in the proper state in line with his divine self, then there's a oneness there. Now let's put this in the context of Kemet. Which one would represent Offset, right? And which one would represent the wife of Set? Islam. Go ahead, brother Bati Bey.
Set will be the feminine, and the wife of Set will be the physical.
There we go. Now you see what I'm getting at. So once you do this and you understand these things, this actually gives us the ability to better understand from a metaphysical expression ourselves.
Can I ask a question?
And we understand the principles as they exist within us instead of some old spooky stuff outside of us. Go ahead, good brother.
Okay, so in the Book of Fire,
mm-hmm.
where they were going through the power words to help the one transition from the we say the wife of Set to Offset, or to Offset, or let's just keep it simple, to trans to the spirit plane and be in that spiritual body. That Bangai Asmani was the Moorish. What would be the words of power to activate each of the chakras, since we have to activate the soul plane?
to be honest with you, you know, I'm gonna be straightforward with you based on the system that you use. You know, and we can go into that as well. I'm gonna show you real quick what I mean by that. Let's deal with the Kemetic Center first. And I'll show you what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And we actually have this in a couple of our lessons, right? You know, and for example, look,
Okay.
you know, so I mean, and there are many others though. It's not just limited to these words of power here. You know, we actually demonstrate some of those words of power in our prayer. You
Yeah.
see?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we demonstrate some of those in our prayer. Here's the
Prayer is
expression
walking
of the E.A.R.S and the Kundalini too in Osamare, you know, in the Yoruba tradition of the Orishas in the Kundalini. Same thing. Go ahead, brother.
So the prayer is walking up the chakras too.
Yeah,
That's
in all
cool.
actuality, you know,
Islam.
that's right. You know, and so like we can go on. So for people that think this stuff is fake, look, this is from the Yoruba tradition. Notice the root is Shango. You know, the reproductive is Umoja. You know, then the other one here, the navel is Oshu. And we can go all the way up. This is the Yoruba tradition. So look, here it is right here. This stuff is easy to find if you look at it. Look at that. The E.A.R.S, ancient Egypt, or Kundalini, ancient India, represents the medical caduceus. Why? Because it has to do with medicinal healing of the self. The two serpents spiraling. And you always hear me talk about the Ida and the Pingala. That's what these represent. One is red, one is blue. One deals with the blood flow, that represents red. You know, the one deal with blue, it represents the breath. And they cross over. These points that they cross over at represent chakra points. So these are your ganglionic center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see what I'm saying? So these would be your ganglionic centers that actually refer to the chakras within the body, which you can actually see the way they put it here in the artwork. You know, look at that. So it says spiraling 7 times up a pole until they reach the top, at which point they have wings and take flight. You know, so we see, you know, these chakra systems in every particular culture. So everybody can't be lying. You know, every culture in Islam, in Christianity, you know, when you deal with the teachings of the monks and Sufism and so forth and so on, family, you're still dealing with the same system from a different approach, so to speak. You know what I mean? Here's another chart on it. You can find this stuff all over the place. We in the age of information, so ain't nothing hidden from you. They call it the staff of Tehuti. You know, the staff of Tehuti. You know, this is all inside of you. I want to go back to that one I was just on so you can see this here. And like you were speaking earlier, we getting into the hemisphere of the brain. See, this is stuff the Prince of Peace used to be teaching about right here. This deal with polarity therapy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so when you look at it, look at this. There it go again. These are your chakra points. This is the eliminative, which we know that's in the base of the spine. The generative, that represent the reproductive organ. Digestive, that's the solar plexus. Respiratory, right? Going into the heart, the neuter, you know, the throat, and then you go into the head. So we always say keep it above the neck. Notice the symbol of the wings, and this would this would represent what we call the Bahadet. Now imagine coming from lower Kemet into upper Kemet. You see what I'm saying? So this is where the soul energy and life consciousness take place at, because we call this, you know, the crown. You know, so notice it says 5 radiating energy waves and 5 senses. You know, 5 radiating energy waves and senses. One is representing the upright, and one represents the cycle of these things coming back down. So this is a circle here. You know, man. Go ahead, Sister Curta Bay.
Yes, I was looking at the wings Do that? Is those the wings of Ma'at and representing that
Yeah.
balance?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly what they are. And that's what I'm saying. You see how you able to see that right there?
Uh-huh.
That's the Bahadet. That's
Okay.
what you see above all temples. This would actually represent the sun in most cases.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
because that's where the illumination take place in the brain. That's what the enlightenment. That's why we talk about intuition and telepathy. Keep it above the neck.
Right.
You know, instead of getting caught up down here in all them other ones.
That's right.
Look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 2 that held is up here. And the 5 that fell had to do with everything that represent all of these things here.
Right.
You know, these are a part of us because we in the manifest, so we have these things. But remember, these are your ganglionic centers. But then when you go beyond that, you know, it is the brain. The soul is within the brain. The actions of the soul in the brain. It's not in flesh and bone to think of reason. So you doing the thinking, and so you able to direct the course of what take place in this realm. Notice it says life breath waves and polarized breath waves. So the life breath waves will represent what we call, you know, the ascension process. Polarized would deal with the descension process. Why? Because polarization shows what we call duality. And that's something we have to deal with in the flesh. But when you get into them life breath ways where you ascend and you're dealing with ultrasonic energy and radiant light energy, you know, this is truth and right. This is where you become balanced. This is where instead of studying love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, you become love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's right here, and this ain't nothing new. Look at this. That's another one showing the same thing. And this is the traditional chart here because it's dealing with the Sahasrara, you know, the Ajna chakra, you know, the Mukhi. You know, it goes into all of Muladhara at the base. Here's another chart. You know, this is actually a chart that was created later. Look at the Hebrew letters on here. And that looked like Shem, Aleph, and Mem. Right? Shem, Aleph, and Mem, which look like Shems, or the sun, is what's being referred to here. Because that would be the Hebrew word Shams.
Islam.
Go ahead, brother.
I want to say 2 things. One was I was watching this female talking about the sound, how you can block out certain sounds, or radiation, or not radiation, but radio frequencies, and you could block it out by and you know each of these colors respond to a frequency. So they said you use the blue, which is a 66.4 frequency, and it will purify it'll purify basically your whole spiritual and emotional body. The other thing that I wanted to point out with is that because a lot of people, they don't understand how you have to wake up the chakras. A lot of people go from the top down.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know, that's how we fail. You know, but the thing is, we rise by ascension in the cycle. You know what I mean? Now, notice we say the hand is symbolic to the mind. Notice it's a hand in this particular expression holding on to a staff of caduceus. You see the serpent going up. You know, so we can see, you know, one that has taken a hold through their consciousness, you know, of their divinity and being able to master the self. We showing this because we talking about the Nile Valley, and it has chakra points in it. Even the globe has 7 chakra points in it. You know, even when you get to the cellular level, there's a chakra system that's present there to a certain degree. You know, look at here. You know, and that looked like, I want to say Russian right there, but they got their little system over here to the right. But you can see why the Prince of Peace was dealing with polarity therapy. You know, he was a master in this science, you know, the 5-element theory, you know, and a lot of polarity therapy deal with the 5-pointed star. But look at what it says here. Watch this. And we're going to go back to what we was showing about, you know, Kemet in the Nile. It says there are many patterns of energy flow in polarity. It says, but the basic pattern, the core pattern describes the relationship of consciousness to physical form. Energy centers, energy enters the body through the third eye, you see, and then splits into two separate rivers. There it is, you see. In yoga, these are called nadis. Remember I said the Ida and the Pingala going around it. It's what I was talking about earlier. It says in polarity, the energy on the right side of the body is positively charged, while the energy on the left side is negatively charged. So this would be the left side of your body, even though we're looking at it as the right side right now. You see what I'm saying? So this, in all actuality, is negatively charged, and this is positively charged in all actuality. Just like we seen in that chart that I showed you earlier. It says in polarity, the energy on the right side of the body is positively charged, while the energy, it says, on the left side is negatively charged. As the two rivers flow down the body, they cross and recross each other. It says over each body cavity. As they cross, they create a spark of energy. And these are the symbols of what we call sacred geometry, is what is being produced here. These are the vibrations that are being produced. Y'all remember, sound produces vibration. So when we talk about our bodies, in all actuality, it's a whole conversation going on within us, whether we know it or not. That has to do with holding this thing together, determining when this thing gonna disintegrate. But that's a whole nother level. So, it goes on. There's a chakra at the throat center, over the heart, the lungs, and the chest, the solar plexus, and the abdomen. See, this is showing you the actual scientific references to the things that we know as actually energy centers. The genitals and the pelvis, over the rectum. We can even go into the aspects of dealing with, these things when it comes to dealing with the energy of these centers. These 5 chakras relate to the 5 primordial elements of ether, air, fire, and it says water and earth. Now, let me give you something. When you get into this here, the ethers is what elevates you from the elements. Even though the ethers represent that which hold elements together when we deal with the elemental plane. But when you get into the ethers of your divinity, now you're talking about intuition and telepathy. You have gotten out of the elemental realm and so forth and so on. We call that going into upper Kemet. But when you are able to unite lower and upper Kemet, this is what we call in the Moorish Holy Quran, uniting divinity and matter. Though you in the body, you ain't of the body. You still a God, man, in your body. That's what we are trying to obtain. That's what it means to become an adept. When you can master the body while you're in it, to the extent you don't even need it no more. You see? It don't get no plainer than that. So polarity describes how everything on this physical plane, including the physical body, is created from 5 elements. Although the elements, it says, spread throughout the body, they each have a concentration in one of these 5 chakras. And then it speaks of the 2 additional chakras at the third eye in the crown. That's that intuition and telepathy. That's that cherubim and seraphim. Which pertain more to spiritual development than physical well-being. So now you understand the concept of the 5 that fell and the 2 that held. Now when you put your hand up and you got the 2 on the right and the 5 on the left, you know what it is. Islamism without the schism. Now let's get back to this Kemetic chart, because we can go all day with just dealing with that aspect. I want to go back here to this chart. So it says chakras are the energy centers of the body. They are located along the spine and start at the base and running upwards towards the crown. That's that serpent, right? That's that kundalini, right? It says the chakras coincide with a gland in the physical body. We just showed you what those glands and different functions, represent. And each radiates a unique color. So color, is at the essence of the being. But we often say we take on the color of Allah in the Grand Quran. This is Sebagatala. When we take on that, that means we conform to the will of the supreme being. It's different from submitting to the will. Submitting, I'm going to submit to it, but conform meaning I have become the will. This is the Muslim degree. So it says, since the chakras relate to specific spiritual, emotional, and physical aspects of our being, their inhibition can lead to corresponding disorders. The conscious balancing of these energy centers, on the other hand, can lead to a profound states of awareness. So they show you here a chakra chart, and they show you what they represent. You know what I mean? All the way up here. You see? All the way up here. Now watch this. It goes on. It says the process of enlightenment then involves the neophytes starting at the root chakra at the pale, right? And working their way north to the soul star at Giza. This journey may have taken years as specific lessons were mastered. Temples were seen as houses for the gods to whom they were dedicated. Indeed, the services and rituals were seen as necessary for the gods to uphold Ma'at, the divine order of the universe. So your chakra points actually represent different temples, you know, different places of initiation, you know, within the body, so to speak. You know, it says, besides the temples themselves, the Egyptians created neters. It says are animal gods whose traits embodied the personalities of the chakra system. For neophytes struggling to master the world within themselves, then a stroll beside the river may have inspired fresh insights. Indeed, according to Egyptian legend, Isis took a boat and gathered the fragments of Osiris's body. Wherever she found one, she built a temple. Oh, man. It says, so the most profound difference between ancient and modern man was that our ancestors considered themselves part of the animal kingdom and not separate from it. Yeah, because we need that special measure in order to know our higher selves, right? It says the true process of enlightenment, it says, then meant recognizing the animal spirits are the natures of the world around us as a reflection of our inner natures. And so they actually show, coming from Lower Kemet, they have the lion, you know, they got the bull, they got, you know, the falcon, you know, the ibis, you know, they have the cow, the sacred cow here, you know. Then we have, notice all their temples here too as we go along here. We come from the pyramids here, you know, Heliopolis, Heracleopolis, you know, Hermopolis, you know, all these different places, Achaemenum, you know, at the Abydos temple, we was just talking about that a few minutes ago, you know, and then we come all the way up to the temple of Luxor, where the chairman will tell you, if somebody asks you, a Mason, talking about, hey, where you hail from, you come from the temple of Luxor. You know what I mean? Actually, this is actually too where the DNA of Ramesses was found in this particular area, by the way. But anyway, we go up, you see the serpent power, you know, and you come all the way up, you got to conquer all of these particular animal expressions. And this is where you see in the Kemetic drawing, where you have the human head, you know, that is on the body of an animal. It shows that you are able to rise above your animalistic passions and desires, so to speak. You were able to master those things. And you can benefit and use those qualities as opposed to letting the animal self guide you, beguile you, and have you all over the place, so to speak. You know, so in most cases too, when you see the animal head upon the human body, we can see that one has actually mastered at a high degree these special characteristics, and they are able to demonstrate from a divine standpoint of what that animal was expressing. So we come all the way up to the Pile Temple, to the Temple of Ramesses II. And I mean, again, you going literally up the Nile. You know, even though this look like you going down the Nile, this is going up the Nile. We already know this, right? So it says, above the tree of life within animalistic man. It says the most important part of the temple was the sanctuary, which contained the Atet, and otherwise known as the solar bark. That's what you riding in, the bark of Ra. That's the boat of Ra. They say this was a mythological representation of the sun riding in a boat. What is this? The sun represents illumination. So imagine if that's you traveling all the way up the Nile. When you reach the full realm of illumination, then you're dealing with the Bahadet. That's what we was talking about earlier when we was dealing with the wings, on the sun disk. But anyway, it says, in this way, Ra was said to travel through the sky in his barge, providing a light to the world. Reminiscent of the Ark of the Covenant, this wooden boat was usually gold-plated. Now, y'all know we have a measure in our teaching where it talks about the Ark. Now, we know the Ark of the Covenant was put in the river and it was allowed to sail. This is powerful. So once we understand this, we understand what's meant, in the book of Malachi when it says the Son of God shall rise with healing in his wings. This is the winged sun disk, family, the Bahadet. Know thyself. So this journey that we're dealing with going up the Nile represents knowing the self. As they stated, you can imagine that most of the neophyte and the priest will walk along the Nile in reflection. So anyway, it says the nautical reference reminds us of that fresh water actually carries consciousness. In the truest sense, water is actually alive. Just as the Nile carries water, so the body carries blood. And that's fact. In fact, blood itself is only 51% cellular components, and the rest is water. So the Nile within us must be rejuvenated with breathing and mantras while we reflect on the significance of Pele and the pyramids. Now, this is very key because I told you that Ida in that Pingala that goes around the spine, what we was just speaking of. Matter of fact, I'm going to go back and we'll show it to the family that may not be as knowledgeable as we are when it comes to dealing with this. Again, it ain't strange that this word Nutra is connected to the brain, make me think about Netta. But anyway, this is your Ida and your Pingala. Remember, one life breath waves and unpolarized brain waves. One deals with the blood and one deals with the breath. You see, and where they cross over, these represent, sparks of energy within the self. This is vibration, family. That's all energy is, vibration. So anyway, it says the higher heart of unity. The Egyptian concept of Adam Kadman. I know y'all familiar with this here. See, when you get up in the higher state, now you talking about Ish and Ish. Because Adam Kadman actually basically consists of Ish and Ish. Spirit man and spirit woman. This is why I said in Genesis chapter 5, he created them and called their name Adam. But yet when you go into Proverbs chapter 8 and you go there, it mentions the word Kadman, where he states he was there with him from the beginning. So Adam, represent man and woman in the spiritual sense. Instead of representing a physical man, it represents Adam Kadman. You see, masculine nor feminine to a certain degree, because there's really no gender in spirit, but we just showing our family this because some of our people need to have that in order for them to understand. So anyway, it says the Egyptian concept of Adam Kadman was embodied in the red lion. Giza, it says, the 23rd nome was the home of the Sphinx, where balance was realized within. The universal man was classically depicted as in the lion, it says Kochan position. It says basically demonstrating the power of fully realized human. Osiris or Osar, right? But then it goes to showing that the crown of the ruler, Apis, was the sacred bull. It says at Memphis. The bull was the chosen one because it symbolized the great strength and fighting spirit and profound fertility of the ruler. So we can look at the bull by studying the nature of the bull or the lion, and we can actually see these qualities that's being mentioned. It says, as early as the normal palate, the king was depicted with a bovine tail. It says in Memphis was the capital of Egypt during the Old Kingdom. Menepha is what they call it in the Kemetic language. So then it says, for more than 8 consecutive dynasties occupied a strategic position at the mouth of the Nile Delta. During this golden age, Memphis thrived as a center for commerce, trade, and religion. Then it goes into the third eye insight. The Egyptian temples, it says, in Abu Ghraib were devoted to the sun god Ra. These 5th dynasty temples were built during the Old Kingdom by Userkaf, Sahure, and Neferkare, and Renefereth, and also Nayusere, and Minkahur. It states during this time, the pharaoh acquired a new title, Sun King. Much later, Ramesses II would dedicate his own temple here to Ra Amun Nekhbet. Spiritually, the Eye of Ra has been known by many names, including the third eye, the eye of the mind, all-seeing eye, God's eye. We can go on and on. The throat of truth. You know, this represents the trachea, and it opens at the portal of communication, freedom of expression, the higher truths. The Greeks call this Hermopolis, the city of Hermes, or Hermes, which is another name for Tehuti, or thought. It says, since they identified him with divine herald thought, the portico of the temple existed until 1825 and was drawn by early European explorers and published, it says, on prints and art, thought. And it make you think about thought, you know, the divine mind. It says, was often depicted as a man with the head of an ibis or a baboon, an animal sacred to him, right? It says his feminine counterpart was Sekhet. You know, that was the wife. Then we have the heart of love. You know, the middle chakra is the wisdom of the heart. It says, and when this is open, we truly blossom. Hathor's or Heru's popularity is attested by the number of minor goddesses who share her attributes and were considered aspects of this mother, a mother goddess. It says the most important of these were 7 Hathors, who were present at the birth of a human being and decreed their fate. Hathor was in early times worshipped in the form of a cow at temples like Dendera. Now, you deal with the 7 Hathors that's present at the birth of the human being. You know, this is when you born, you have 7 centers. You know, even the goddess represented the heavens, but that's a whole nother measure. But it says the solar plexus of power. The third chakra is devoted to awakening ability and manifesting potential. The primal god at Thebes, it says, was Amun and usually depicted wearing the double crown of Egypt, representing power over all the land, often associated with strength, courage, and power. Amun was usually portrayed as a serpent, and Thebes was the capital of Egypt during the Middle and the New Kingdoms. This made me think about the hidden one, Amun. You see? That becomes manifest. And then they had the sacral of sexuality. Notice they got that crocodile up there. You know, when you get down into this base way of thinking, so to speak. The crocodile chakra is dedicated to Sobek. Now you can see why this is the enemy of Ra. You know what I mean? That reptilian mindset. You know, this causes us to stay in the plane of things made manifest. You know, getting caught up in your feelings and everything else. That's an enemy to the higher self. In Ra, enlightenment, if you caught up down here. You know, you needed to procreate, but it ain't got nothing to do with being divine. So anyway, Kum Umbu is what they call this particular region. Crocodile courting goes for hours, involves all senses. They are passionate lovers, unlike many other reptiles and mammals. Alligators sport permanently erect penises, it says, and hides inside of their bodies. It says, and only emerge during coitus. Sebek, the Egyptian, is derived from a causative of the verb to impregnate. It says, as a fertility god, Sobek was often shown with a millimeter above his head. So it'd be all type of crocodile passions involved when we get caught up into that lower self. Okay, so this is the root of survival. You know, right here. This is the ram. The ram often thrusts its way through. This is representing aggressive behavior, so to speak. That's where we get the fighting in the flight mode. It come in right here, survival of the fittest. I'm ready to go to war. But anyway, it says the ram chakra is dedicated to Kunam, also the god of creation that sits on the potter wheel and forms people out of clay. So it is the experiences where we have to assert ourselves that actually represent how we become shaped or molded, in the way that we come forth as who we are. It says rams are considered to be a symbol of fertility due to their rutting behavior. The violent rut is characterized by increased testosterone and exaggerated dimorphism, pardon self, and aggressive posture. Remember, I just said a ram thrust their way through, and then it says the Elephatin and the Pile were dedicated to Kunam and Isis and the ancient gods of fertility. So we can go on here. And a lot of people, again, they get caught up. They don't know these formulas that they're looking at right here. They'll go to telling you, oh, this is the letter R, this is the letter A. So this is Ra, and this is Wa, this is Hotep. I always tell them I'm just playing with them right now because they think I can't do what they be doing over there. But anyway, it says above the phallic, it says Kunam flanked by the Volvic, Neptes, and Isis. And so we can see this especially drawing. It says the ancient Egyptians believed that the Nile flooded every year from the tears of Isis. It says, and over the death of her husband, Osiris or Osar, on the practical level, this flooding of the Nile was actually a result of the yearly monsoon between May and August, causing enormous precipitation in the Ethiopian highlands. It says most of this rainwater was carried downstream, it says, by the Blue Nile and the Attabara River. So a lot of people don't know, what these things represent on the esoteric level. But this is the journey of the Nile when you're dealing with it. And I have even other breakdowns on this that go further. We dealt with this before. All you got to do is look at the chakras along the Nile, and you're going to come up with many, many different drawings, family. Remember I told you it's the chakras even in the earth. See, that's you can see that's really a shape that looks similar to Africa right there. But the chakras along the Nile, is a true expression. You got to know this stuff right here. You know what I mean? In fact, they even got all the information up here dealing with a lot of this stuff in their particular channel there. But I've been studying this particular aspect for a long time, family. They actually talk about it on Gia. I don't want to go in there and get them to messing with my little channel, but it's all up here. You can go and look this stuff up. Those who are serious about enlightenment, but those who don't care nothing about enlightenment, they're gonna tell you, oh, this is a bunch of foolishness. It ain't got nothing to do with this, and that's because they don't deal with self-mastery. They materialists. And be aware of them. Here it is again, the Egypt River Nile in the 7 chakras. It has been truly believed that ancient Egypt, that mighty river Nile, signified the backbone of the human body. The temples of ancient Egypt were placed strategically along the Nile to correspond with the major chakras of our energy system that exists along this backbone. The journey from Aswan to Heliopolis will take you through these sites and can provide healing of the chakras as we go. So flow with the spirit of the Nile. Remember I said the angel, not the angel, but the when it said that the pardon self. Yeah, it says the Son of God shall rise with healing in his wings. And so when we get into that, now we understand, why we are swift angels, so to speak. So the healing process has to do with being able to heal yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually. That's what this represents. It says, allow the Nile to flow through you and illuminate your heart and uplift your journey. Relax with the spirit of the Nile and its dynamic essence on board of our private yacht. And so they showed here again, the same thing that we just were speaking of. And we can just keep going on and on and on. I'm showing you this to show even the European trying to take your science and use it theyself. See, Egypt is the path of initiation. See, this is adept stuff here. You know what I mean? They see it better than most of our people seeing it, and our people don't want to claim it as their own. You know what I mean? People taking your science and running with it. And man, we can go on and on and on. This thing is. Go ahead, sister.
Islam, Dr. Shaheed, that's what you was reading when you was showing us the alligator and the goat and all them. Is that your own personal stuff?
No, this is random stuff. I'm pulling up random stuff purposely to show our people that this ain't something that we just made up.
Oh,
now we have our charts that break it down as well. You know, because we went through this before. We got lessons that we've done on this.
So
you know,
what
I got old videos that I've done on this. But go ahead, sister.
Islam. So what I googled to get that what you just went over with us.
You just go right here. Just put chakras of the Nile.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's gonna bring everything up. You know, that deal with all of this stuff. I'm just showing that that there are many people basically that teach. This particular history, so to speak. And I'm showing that in ancient Kemet, that there's a chakra system that relates to it, and we can go over and over and over with it. Like they talking about the initiation here of life, going through the same thing. And see the temples, day 1, day 2, all the way up to day 7. You see? And they going all the way up. And this is actually people being took to Kemet physically. This is how they take people through the journey, or the trip, so to speak. So, I mean, we can go on and on and on, but they got plenty of videos out here. Chakras along the Nile, initiation on Apple TV. The 528 hertz, ancient Egypt on the Nile solar. Man, this chakra Egyptian Nile chakra recalibration. Like, come on, man. We the only ones that don't want to deal with this. But the Europeans eating it up right now. And who you think they got it from?
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Our people got to stop playing. They don't want this because this they don't want this because this deal with science. But I'm talking about our people now. They don't want this information because it deal with mastering the self.
Right.
In other words, mastering the self is something spooky. I want to be material. I don't want to have nothing that make me disciplined. That's basically what they saying.
Right.
They ain't saying it like that, but that's what they saying. Here's another here. The Issue Foundation. Somebody knows something, don't they? Now let's go up in here.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go all the way through it. And it's the same thing, the same story being told, family. We need to play catch up with what we need to do.
That's right.
Stop playing. So again, like I say, showing you all of this.
Okay.
Again, this people say, well, what does that have to do with, how can you apply that? Oh, foolish one. You can apply it to dealing with self, because if you learn to master the self and purify your heart and mind, you can be a better individual.
That's right.
That's how it applies to you. That's how you can make it applicable to your life.
Yes.
You understand? If you don't want to do that right there, you the wretched of the earth, like Franz Ferdinand said. And you destined for ruin. And we don't want to see you go to your ruin.
That's right.
We trying to teach you the thing that make you better. We ain't trying to make you better. We giving you the keys so that you can make yourself better.
That's right.
Islam, we ain't standing over you. You better do this because I say this, or you going to hell. No, that ain't what that ain't what we doing, family. It ain't that type of party over here. Not in Moorish America, anyway.
That's right.
We here to teach our people their nationality and their divine creed. We ain't here to teach them no religion. So we about self-mastery. And once you get that, then you'll stop trying to put the Moors, especially the Moorish American government, in that bag. Oh, they over here teaching us religion. We talking about religion. religion. You know, and I'm gonna say this too. Anytime you do that and you say you don't believe in so-called religion, you actually just created a religion and made it a rival, you know, to what it is that you consider in your antithesis. You see? So yeah, this is powerful, family. But yeah, if you go and look at it, you know, chakras along the Nile, you can find pictures and everything that's expressing this same information that we're talking about here. Look at that. The Sephobara, 7 souls of Ra. A lot of people don't know the soul of Ra represents scimitar too. But that's a whole nother measure. So like, yeah, you can go here, you know, and you can see here's another one. Chakra system in Egypt. You know, Kemetic chakras. You know, Reiki healing. You know, Brother Muata Ashby most definitely got a grand book on the tree of life, the Kemetic tree of life. And he goes into the chakras. I got that in PDF form too. You know, so like, I mean, like more, we can't make this stuff up. Everybody else practicing your science but you. So that means something is wrong with you. And then how you gonna go against something that actually, you know, aids and assists people to master the self without bringing forth a system to replace what you trying to rebut? You know what I mean? I don't want you to have that because I don't want it, but I ain't got nothing to give you. That's basically what you say.
Islam and Dr. Shaheed, you know what you know what we do too. We'll go to them and pay them money to teach us about our own teaching. You know, you got our people, they'll go to the European and have them to teach them how to do yoga and teach them how to meditate and pay money to them.
That's right. And
You
then
know,
when we here giving it to them free, they don't want it.
they don't want it.
They don't want it. In fact, they say something wrong with us because we giving it to them free.
Yes.
You know, so that mean it ain't right because it's free.
Right. But the Europeans said it, they swallowed hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. See, look at that there. See, a lot of people don't know that even the term chakra, you know, is also synonymous with the word sakara. You heard our Grand Secretary of the State talk about sakara early. So, you know, the real sakara has to do with the temple of the chakras. You see, but that's a whole nother measure, family. Yeah. They even have alchemy therapy right here. You know, where they're dealing with different stones and the colors of it. Like, I mean, come on, family. As it is above, so it is below. As it is within, so is it without. So that's what I want to say, you know. And at this time, we're gonna definitely open up the way for our Grand National Secretary of the State. I like that little picture right there too. It's a painted wall, a mural. That's powerful. I like that. But yeah. So yeah, you know, anyway, you know, just showing you again, like I said, we got all this stuff here. You know, it's out there, family. A lot of people don't know the Jed pillar also is synonymous with the spine as well, because it represents stability. The Jed pillar also was a symbol of Ta. You know, so at this time, like I said, I want to open up the floor to our Grand National Secretary of the State, Sister Hatshepsut Rakat Ma'at Anpu Tutankhamun Bey. Islam, goddess and queen.
Islam. Much gratitude and honor. Already given. Gratitude, Dr. Shaheed, for this powerful class, this E.A.R.S class. Again, much gratitude to our family online and to our scribes. I tell you, when you were speaking and just going through the various, pulling out E.A.R.S and then going through the other degrees and how everything leads back to Kemet. You know, another paradigm shift, because when we're going through these languages and picking up and deciphering and learning how to make these degrees applicable to the self, it helps. The more that we go into this, unearth it, and with the truth that is already out here online, then that gives a grander unfoldment on in essence, physician, heal yourself. So, we can no longer, in essence, use as an excuse like a bit here, a piece there. And it just showed how when the prophet was speaking about doing things in a scanty way, we have so much. When the prophet speaks about there's much more wisdom to be learned, so we definitely can't allow ourselves to get in the mindset of where the ego states, I got that. You know what I mean? As opposed to the premise of what everything is based upon, dealing with self-mastery. And the more that you know, the more that you grow. And I was just looking at it, especially when you were speaking about the now and the various chakra points, and just looking at the divine journey. And the one sentence that was speaking about how we know that water is healing. The prophet even spoke about that. But when it comes down to knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and just how dealing with polarity therapy, because I had heard bits and pieces here and there, but just being able to go into each science and deal with the mastery of it, and then unfold into a higher degree, because every time we go through this, we are receiving higher degrees of elevation. So that's why it helps to have a guide, which is our prophet Noble Drew Ali, also the Hierophant within ourselves, coming from our creator, our Father God Allah, and allowing ourselves to be wholeheartedly into this journey of divinity. Because as we unfold, then we are able to assist our people even more. So this is just a grand blessing. When you speak about the more that you learn, or the more that you know, the more you see that you don't know. So gratitude more. And I tell you, it's like we don't have time for play. All the stuff that we have got to take within ourselves and deal with the mastery of it. Because chapter 1, many ages, we're going to be here until all of our lessons are learned. So gratitude for this grand class. Much peace and love to all of my Moorish kin. Islam.
Gratitude, Grand National Secretary of the State, for that drawing. You couldn't have said it better. And that's the main thing. We have many of our people, they don't get it. You're talking about Kemet, you're talking about learning about the ancient ancestors, so to speak, but you don't want to do what the ancient ancestors done to master themselves. You don't want to be what it is that they became, and that's being yourself one with the great God. So definitely, we know somebody don't know who made them. Somebody had no idea, who made them. And so we can find these things, like I said, over and over again in many different expressions as they relate to us as a people. I even had hold up, let me see here real quick before I go to our next official. I want to pull this up here because I did have this here. This was actually a chart. Let me see, share it right here. And you can see it here. Well, one had put one together dealing with, the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the thyroid gland, and they basically go through, the comedic expression of this right here. The spleen, the pancreas, all of these are the ganglionic centers. It's just powerful, family, when we know the self and we study the self. The Neteru is in you. Every last one of them. Right there in you. All we got to do is study self and literally be the self. So that's a powerful drawing, family. A powerful drawing. So, as we call forth now, our grand man, and I want to know, is our Grand National Chairman on the manifest, Sister not Kurt Bay, Sister Heshepsu?
Islam.
Islamism.
Just speak.
Islamism without the schism. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you with divine ears, Adept. We appreciate the lesson you brought us in the book of fire. We fired up.
Well, praise Allah. Well, let me rise and praise to Allah and on the Prophet Noble Dwali. Still much honor to Noble Dwali for bringing us everything that it takes to save ourselves as a nation. And until the Moors wake up and realize that if you don't know what a Moorish American is, you can forget the rest. You know, that they ain't got nothing coming. But we're here more because we got a powerful, powerful journey to succeed. And this has been a magnanimous class. Thank you. And for all those who participate, man, thank you, thank you, thank you. And this is what I got to say more is just stay on your ship. Otherwise, you may find the drown. So we don't want to get it covered. But Islamism without a schism. Thank you, more. Islam.
Islamism without the schism. That's right. We better stay moored to that ship. We give honors to you, Chairman, for that grand draw, and praise be to Allah. Man, it don't get no more plainer than that. But let us call forth our national grand sheik, because he on here too. He on that ship. Islam, sheik. You there, grand man?
Islam, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we hear you loud and clear with my audio ears.
Praise Allah. Honor to the Prophet. And honor to all our Moorish kin here, there, and everywhere. Especially those striving to bear the name of true and faithful. To you all, we are truly grateful. Thank you, Shaid, for such a powerful presentation. I had started out as a part of my journey looking at the Cometian science of creation and a multitude of other things, and how the pharaohs, etc., would take on the garb of different animals and perform a necessary ceremony. As a result of that, the scribes, as I'm understanding the history, the scribes sort of like wrote a dictate about how these gods that are within the inner earth rotate. Here again, they use themselves presentations of that powerful gesture. One say tight on one side, very loose on the other, and how those things that are dear. Cometian science, therefore, as I'm learning, is definitely a permanent program that can be used by the Cometian adepts here now. And to Assistant Grand Sheik and Grand S Chairman, Grand S Secretary of State, multitude of angels here, there, and everywhere. Conscious Moors who strive to bear the name of true and faithful on a daily basis. Grand Mufti, Assistant Grand Mufti, Grand Mufti Corps, those dividers, and angels, ye men, coming from the highest plane that is manifest to this plane that is getting a drawing off itself. And this is what the lesson taught ourselves and is teaching ourselves. We know that our lesson in addition to what the angel brought forth in our jewels and tools of every kind, that he went there to sort of like our mother's house and receive the blessing of letting them know who we were. And they gave it the prophet how you say it, a sedative, if you will, or a message, if you must, to bring him up out of that stage and to bring him back over here in the field of captivity and release the slave, or the more who have been conditioned to slavery and the slave trade, and gave them the information about who they really were. And the fact that this demonstration is being brought forth from your government at this hour is no coincidence. It's bound to happen. And so, saying that, I got my scrub pan out here, Sheik, and we want to pick up some of these more on these golden nuggets. We know you got plenty of them to share, so we on the manifest. Islam.
In Islam, Sheikh, we give honors to you for everything it is you do, because the grand droid, you know, in relation to that measure, definitely deal with us being able to find our purpose, you know, and find out who we are. See, a lot of time we talk about that knowledge of self. A lot of our people don't know that we the return of the ancient ones, as the chairman has told us on countless occasions. And so once we notice, then it's our duty to seek out in our purpose what it is that we supposed to be doing. You know, like we say, the chemistry, the ministry, and the mystery. And you know, that's what made me even come even harder with trying to make sure I get, you know, the message to my people. You know, and I found my purpose in getting the message to my people. You see? And you, for example, are a part of the purpose. The Moorish American government are part of the purpose. We all part of the same purpose, because we have conformed to the same will of the old wonderful one. We call it the all within the all, as they call it. And I was seeing it, and I have created a reflection. I'm going to show it to you, because it was dealing with a prophecy. In fact, when we deal with the finding of the self, right here, you know, we did our little artwork because we always make little things. You notice the E.A.R.S here, you know, we wear it with pride, so to speak. But this was the prophecy of Neferti, right? And I looked at this as a prophecy that relate to all of us in all actuality. But I found my purpose in the prophecy, because out of everything we were just saying, it says, then a Nasut, a king, would come from the south, a many. It says, the justified by name, the son of a woman of Tarseti. I say, okay, well, this right here, and this is before we did the DNA test. Tarseti is actually the realm of Nubia, you know, the Sudan, so to speak, right? Which is where a lot of Marcus ones came from. Child of Upper Egypt, he would take the white crown and he would wear the red crown, and he would join the two mighty ones and the two crowns. That's the crown of Lower Kingdom, Lower Egypt, or Lower Kemet, and Upper Kemet, bringing them together in one. And that has inspired me in the purpose of not only first striving to master the self, but also being able to give this same process to our people as far as dealing with the information. So what I'm saying is we have to be able to find ourselves, because we are there. In other words, there's a prophetic measure that's talking about all of us. And once we find out that is special measure, we can bring it to the people, so to speak. You know thyself. That's the whole key. Just like when we go in our Grand Quran, We say we got to place ourselves in the chapter. We got to become part and partial. In other words, like the brother Michael Jackson said when he made the video about Kemet, do you remember the time? You know, do you remember the time? And I know you get a drawing off of that when we first met. Now, a lot of people think that deal with just, oh, this is talking about man meeting a woman, but the brother was really giving a grand depiction. He even wanted to make a movie on Kemet, but his buddies didn't want to back him in that. You know, and these were the main filmmakers at that time among the European. But yeah, you know, so we got to remember the time. And we got to remember also that no one, man, woman, or anybody can strip us away from that unless we believe that their power is greater than that, than the God within us. So, you know, I just wanted to add that on. You know, we got to find the self and know the self, and that's what give us purpose once we know who we are. Islam. So, yeah, this is powerful. So what at this time, what we're going to do, we're going to open up the floor to our other scribes. Honors to the scribes. Islam.
Islam.
Islamism without the schism.
Islam, Dr. Denver Curtis Bay. I tell you, wow, this has been a powerful, powerful class this morning. And I just give honors to our Grand Sheik and our chairman and you, Dr. Shaheed. I tell you, none of this would be happening had y'all not been obedient to the great God Allah. And I just praise him for that. And I want to give honors to the goddess too. The way she presented that, what she was really asking for. Now I know. And what I had, I got most of it. So all I got to do is go back on what I already got and tweak it a little bit and get that and put everything. I know what to do now. She did an excellent job on showing me how to do that homework, because I instead of doing the alphabet, do the words. So I know what to do now, and I'm gonna go back and fix that. I just got to tweak it a little bit instead of doing the alphabet, doing the words. So I got it now. So gratitude, goddess. And this has just been one powerful class for me, Dr. Shaheed, and especially when you was talking about the chakras, because I'm learning and working with that even as we speak, trying to learn to go within, quiet my mind down. And I tell you, our holy prophet and the great God of Allah know exactly what we need, because you bringing this on at this time. And here I am trying to wanting to learn more about it, study and stuff. Now you didn't give me all this information where I could go out there and Google it. I didn't know all that was out there. And that is, and the prophet say he took away all the excuses. So for me, myself, I don't have no excuses, because he's showing me, okay, you want to know how to do that? Here it is right here. So gratitude, God, man, for that information. And I'm just so I'm like the chairman say, I'm wide open. I tell you, I just don't understand. I hear my family talking about I don't want to be in church, or getting burnt out. I those words, I don't want to be in religion, like what you were saying. You hear these comments, and I'm looking and I'm listening. I'm like, what's wrong with you? How can you be burnt out with all of this? How can you not want this? I just don't understand. But it ain't for me to understand. You know what? I give it to the great God Allah. Everybody got their own path to travel. And but for me, I tell you, y'all, I am enjoying words. I don't have words to express what I feel when I get in these classes, when I get on the calls, when I being a part of this government. I don't have words in the English language to express my feelings. So hopefully I'm portraying it with my energy. Because I tell you, family, there's nothing like being at home in your Moorish American government. There's nothing like having your family around you like we have, and to teach us and to show us. Oh man, what more can you ask for? Gratitude, National Grand, Sister Grand Sheik. I tell you, like I say, I'm just overwhelmed right now. I'm so excited and just enjoying everything that we had this morning. Definitely gonna play that playback over and over and over and over again. It's love, peace and love.
And Islam and peace and love, goddess and queen, we give honors to you, for that special love thought and everything that you brought. And we got to go back to also revisit, our particular measure what we put out here, and we give honors to the chairman for the Book of Fire. You know what I mean? Because he did a grand job, with that particular work. And I wanted to go back here. You just type this in your mail, and just go back and look up your Egyptian adept rite of self-initiation. And what you see is once you go into it, everything that we speaking of, is what we actually teach in the rite of self-initiation.
Okay.
And you see our prayers there,
Uh-huh.
when we open up, but I want to go to the pictures that we have. We got the chairman commentary here, where he talk about the journey of the prophet, when he went into Egypt. And then we actually show, the prophet's dress, because many people was confusing this with shrindom. Right. So we had to bring it out there and show them the facts. No, this is from the people of Tarseti. We was just talking about Tarseti a few minutes ago. This is from the Cushites or the Nubians. And so when they understand that and they see the prophet with his head dressed with the feather of Ma'at, and the sun here, you see the feather coming up out of the headdress of the Nubians. Right. You see the prophet with the sash on. You see them with the sash on. This is way before a shrindom of Western Freemason was ever created. This is like thousands of years before Shriners come on the scene. So Prophet Noble Drew Ali literally has on his head right here the headdress, of the ancient Cushites. Right. The dress, period. Look at this. So like, I mean, come on, man. They got to stop the man, and the chairman was the first person to bring it back. That's right. Now everybody want to act like they knew about it. You got a lot of boys trying to act like they knew about it, but they didn't know about that until the chairman brought it back. That's right. They didn't even know where to get it from. So like we showed our people, this is the actual initiation process. When the chairman talked about coming out of the paws of the Sphinx, it's right here. When he talked about the prophet, this is the paws of the Sphinx right here. Right. There's an entry point here and an exit point. Once one has the knowledge of self. So notice it speaks of, going down. This is the causeway cut through the rock leading toward the Nile. This is the arch entrance. This is like a ladder here. Right. This is the entrance hall in the tunnel. This goes into the circular temple, and this actually leads all the way back, as it says down here, to the pyramids. So there's a route that you can come from the pyramids and come back up through this way. And then if you come back out, you will end up between the paws of the Sphinx. Wow. Just like the chairman tell you, just like the teachings of the adepts in the Moorish paradigm tell you. Here's another same thing. This stuff is here. We trying to show our people this stuff ain't being made up. Look at this. Going down again, they go your ladder. This is another picture, causeway to the Nile. Same thing to the pyramids. You see? Then they're going to give a front view in a minute, but this is another one. If you look here, it actually goes deeper, because in this area it says neophytes passage to the pyramids, which lets you know that the initiation most definitely takes place, in these particular areas. Right. And this is where that silent majority still exists today, even in Egypt, that Mustafa Gadala talk about. They there, but they don't come out until it's time to raise one up through the degrees.
Oh.
And at the time the prophet was there, they came out and he was raised through the degrees. Now this is a front entry, and this is between the paws of the Sphinx right here.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And then behind the Sphinx, you can see, so there are corridors which are beneath the ground that lead to each one of these particular pyramid chambers. You see?
Islam.
You know, and this is, I mean, you can't get it no better than this. So in all actuality, when we talk about building the temple of perfected man, when we understand this, then we understand that there was a 3-step ladder also in ancient Kemet.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and this 3-step ladder in Kemet is seen here in the subterranean chamber, you know, the queen's chamber and the king's chamber.
Right.
You see,
Uh-huh.
subterranean chamber deal with things that deal with the physicality. This is the mental. This is the spiritual.
Mm.
You see, in all actuality, the subterranean chamber is really a preparation room.
Right.
But then they say that there are 5 chambers that are hidden up here in this particular region. If you do the research, so 5 plus these 2 equals 7.
Right.
So these represent the 7 degrees of self-mastery within the self and how we are able to become the temple of perfected man.
Mm.
Huh? Yeah. So then when we come here, it tells us right here in the Moorish Holy Quran, let's get the confirmation. Mathino said, who was Mathino? The Comedian Adept that was basically teaching Mary, Elizabeth, Yusuf, right? Asaph. It says, behold this land of Egypt of the dead. Our temples long have been the tombs of hidden things of time. Our temple crypts and caves are dark. In the light, there is no secret thing.
Right.
It says the sun reveals all hidden truth. Remember, we were talking about the sun of righteousness shall rise with healing in its wing. We're talking about illumination.
That's right.
It says there are no mysteries in Allah. Behold the rising sun. See the chemistry, the ministry, and the mystery. It says there are no mysteries in Allah. When you understand that you and the great God are one, you one with God, you enlightened, you illuminated. It says, behold the rising sun. His beams are entering every door, yes, every crevice of the mystic crypts of Misraim.
Wow.
It says, we held the light. All Egypt craves the light. And for that very purpose, I'm going to come back to this. For that very purpose, that's why when we spoke of the ancient Egyptian Moorish rite of the mystic crypts of Misraim, we're not talking about a building. We're talking about the self. And if you look closely, you can actually see, you know, our Moorish tree of life right here. And everything the prophet had brought us that surrounds, you know, the charter that he had brought forth. You know, all of these symbols come from the prophet.
Right.
You know, but they also represent the 42 paths of Moorish wisdom. But only we have knowledge of this because we here teaching it, we here learning it, and so forth and so on. So when you go back here again into the Moorish Holy Quran, because that's what I did when I was putting this measure together, I wanted our people to see that this stuff that the prophet brought is, man, on point. This ain't stuff that they just can dismiss.
Right.
This is another view of the same pyramid, the secret places of the hidden God. Didn't they just tell you that within the self, that God was present in the hidden aspects of you?
Right.
See the chamber of the open tomb of resurrection up here? That's the king chamber. Then we say that deal with the spiritual. You got the hall of truth and the light, the passage of the veil. Then when you get down here, the path of coming forth of resurrection. This is the queen's chamber. Well, guess what? We also call this, you know, basically rebirth. You know, we deal with the concept of what we call the return, so to speak. You know? And then when you come down here, as you go into the hall of truth or darkness, you know, slowly coming out of that, you come into the hall of truth and light.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But the chamber of ordeal, remember I told you this is just a preparation chamber.
Right.
You know, this is where they say our brother Yehoshua was told to sit and ponder, because in this particular chamber is where you find some actual hieroglyphics
Mm.
that's written,
Wow.
you know, in what they call the pyramid text.
Mm-hmm.
They're found in the base. But there are no hieroglyphics in these particular areas. And them hieroglyphics where he was told to go in there and find himself,
Uh-huh.
you know, his soul, do some soul searching.
Right.
What does that have to do with the enigma of the hieroglyphics and the metal netta? Listen to the silent voice that speak within.
Mm.
So look, you go through the door of ascent when you come out of the chamber of ordeal, then you can come out of darkness into the light.
Right.
The
Wow.
path of coming forth of the regenerated soul,
Mm.
crossing of the pure roads of life, the passions of the veil. Man, come on. These people better stop playing with themselves.
I
And
know.
then when you go deeper into it, it even goes further into the connection of the chambers of the stars
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, dealing with your consciousness, you know. And it says, when one dream, one's consciousness naturally shifts to the back of the head. This is more so the case when one has a lucid dream. One's reptilian brain stem reticular activating formation determines the depth of one's quantum realm of dreams. It is via one's lucid dreams one can contact another form of intelligence. So when we talk about being able to function upon the plane of soul and the plane of things made manifest, but function upon the plane of soul is being able to reach your prophet.
Right.
When he speaks from on the highest plane of spirit life. How do we know that this is a fact? The chairman did it.
Right.
How do we know he did it? Because that's where he got the flag from. That's
Right.
where he got the Grand National Seal from. That's where he got the emblem from. But guess what the chairman telling us? We need to do the same thing.
Right.
You see? It
Yes.
says, which the ancient Egyptians considered to be associated with Sirius, in essence, one's lucid dreams are one's personal stargate. But you know, we can go through all that, but y'all have that, so I don't have to go there. But what does the prophet say in the Moorish Holy Quran? One night he slept, slumber, kept, dozed, not alert. And at midday hour, a door, a mental interest into the self, or gateway of his accomplished mind that he had not observed was open, and a priest in somber, a dismal, toned down, subdued, muted, not flashly or stylish garb came in and said, "You are the victim of a cruel plot.
Mm.
The priests of Heliopolis are jealous of your fame, and they have said that you will never leave these gloomy crypts alive." Now, this is the neophyte now. He's sitting in the chamber ordeal. Ain't nobody there but him.
Uh-huh.
And yet these priests in summer garb come to him because these are his thoughts.
Yes.
Keep him from coming up out of this chamber and coming up into this special realm.
Good gracious.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you come further into it, you understand, okay, well, the enlightenment is here then. Now we understand what the Ra and Heru represent. Now we understand the optic thalamus or the lamus within the body.
Uh-huh.
You see? And so where it tells us, going right back to that chakra system, is right here in the Moorish Holy Quran. You are within a holy place.
Right.
In you.
Right.
And you will see upon a living shrine the candle of Allah flame. It says, and when you see it burning there, look deep within the temple of your brain. Didn't we just show you the temple of the brain?
Mm-hmm.
And you will see it aglow. And every part from head to foot are candles all in place, just waiting to be lighted by the flaming torch of love. And when you see the candles, all the flame, just look, and you will see with the eyes of the soul the waters of the fountain of wisdom rushing on, and you may drink and there abide. It says the curtains part, and you are where the ark of Allah rests. Remember we was talking about that ark moving along the waters?
Uh-huh.
So when it rests, it's in the same place where the candle of Allah is a flame. That's above the neck.
Right.
That's dealing with that intuition and telepathy. That's dealing with the throne of Allah that's above your neck where that 1,000-petal lotus sit at.
Mm-hmm.
Right there above the neck, whose covering is the mercy seat. Fear not to lift the sacred board, the tablets of law, are in the ark concealed. Why is it concealed? Because we are yet to reveal it if we haven't studied the self. So it's concealed from us. We only reveal it when we know that it's there. It says, take them and read them well, for they contain all the precepts that man will ever need. It's in you.
Right.
And in the art, the magic wand, for they contain all prophecy. Lies waiting for your hand. The hand is symbolic to the mind. Right? It is key to all the hidden meanings of the present, future, and the past. The cherubim have guarded well for every soul this treasure box. And whosoever will may enter in and find his own, so to speak. And that's what we got to do.
Yes.
So again, we have the temple of God, a temple of the true and living God, sacred temple of Ta'apet, right? See, this is actually the temple of Luxor. If our people don't know it, looking at it from an aerial view, it actually maps out the body.
Right.
So this represents what we call didactic art. And then it says, for as I passed by, Moorish Holy Quran again, behold your devotions I found an altar with this inscription, to the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship him, declare I to you. God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of the heavens and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Carnal thoughts, carnal tools are useless in the workshop of the mind where thought is used to build character. Neither is worship with man's hands. Carnal thoughts. It says, as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things. So, I mean, like, we just went on and on. We even had a chart dealing with the Adept, also showing the temple within the brain.
Right.
And then we brought it forth and brought it on home.
Islam.
To the prophet, Professor Drew, the Egyptian Adept student. And as we state in our Moorish Holy Quran, the teacher treads the way on every span of the ground. And he leave his footprints clearly cut, which all can see and be assured that he, their master, went that way. Men comprehend the inner life by what they see and do, and they come to Allah through ceremonies and forms. And so when you would make men know that sins are washed away by purity and life, a rite symbolic may be introduced. And that's why we talk about this Egyptian rite of self-initiation. So, I mean, it's all up in there.
Islam.
All of this is in us. I just wanted to bring that forth.
Islam.
So they make no mistake about it. When we say that Prophet Noble Drew Ali was an Egyptian adept master, this ain't just wishful thinking, people.
Right.
And I just want to close it right there. Man, they done got me stirred up. Okay?
Islam.
We love you, Moors. We love our prophet. And we're going to defend him every chance we get. Islamism without the schism. That's Aliism. Islam. All right. So our other scribes, y'all can come on in here now. Islam, Brother Bati Bey.
Islam. Yeah, this is Bati Bey. Praise and honor is already given. Even when it seems like one, you may be going through some hard times, and then you got ones like this. you got Moorish kin that is, with the, with the key. You know what I'm saying? It's all in the teachings. There is, and a lot of times, yeah, life is gonna throw a whole bunch of things at you. You know what I'm saying? But you got to this is where discernment comes in, and you can't learn discernment in being in the slave state, because the slave state doesn't allow you to think for yourself. And discernment is the ability to be able to think for yourself. So you have to be rightly educated, and you can't get educated in the West because they don't want you to be. It says a slave don't, master will never teach a slave how to be better than themselves. You know what I'm saying? So when we're looking at all the things that is us and all the things that our people created, like that European woman Jane Elliott said, the world owes a great deal to us. And the fact that we you know what I'm saying, we done had it taken away, stripped away through our disobedience. But we got it all right back too. You know what I'm saying? The same. They say that the saying is the good things in the hand of a fool will turn to his own destruction. And you see, they stole our teachings. You see that, and now us waking up and all the knot that they're carrying on in is turning to their own destructions. You know what I'm saying? And not nothing that we have brought upon them. This is called divine justice being brought forth past, on the manifest. And we all have a part to play. I'm learning mine. You know what I'm saying? It's not no, hey, I'm a Moorish American. Everything else is gone. It's not. Because there's NBC up in me, and it's trying to keep that person maintained is a full-time expectancy in itself. And then still have this knowledge and know where to put it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that it's going to be easy, but it ain't nothing been easy for, us in the slave state. So all we got to do is just come back home and do what we got to do, and link up and unity, and get upon the unity and do what's right for us. Because that's what we can do everything for everybody else, but what have we done for us? And with that, I live as I come in peace. Islam.
That's right. Islam. That's right, brother. We give honors to you for that drawing. Yes, sir. All right now. All right. Brother Marvin Evans Bay, are you still there?
Absolutely.
All right, grand man, you got the flow.
Some gratitude. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. I'm just so grateful. Yeah, this is Dr. Marvin Evans Bay, Consul General of the Texas Consulate. Praise and honors have been given, but I'll reiterate. Praise Allah. All praise due to the great God Allah, and the highest honors to his prophet, our prophet, and high honors to our Moorish American government and all of Act 1. Because, providing all of this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding for one to partake, if one but choose, and I so choose, and I'm just so grateful. And I know that gratitude is a law, and I'm grateful also to you going back over this self-initiation, because that, when you first brought it on the manifest a while back, I was really intrigued. I was really wanting to get into that. And somewhere along the line, I got a little misdirected, so to speak, or my attention was directed on other things. Or I may have had to clean myself more. Because that's what it's all about. Getting rid of all of those things that's keeping us bound down to this physical. You know what I mean? And so as I continue to study, continue to go within, continue to meditate on really who I am and what I am here for. You know what I mean? And it just brings to mind that things that even when I was in Connecticut, many years ago, and the people that I met, and the thoughts that I had, you know what I mean? It was all bringing me here to my Moorish American government. And, I can say I am so grateful because the more it is brought to the conscious, just what is within us. While you was talking, I looked up galactic. It said that we were considered or called a galactic weapon. And I looked up the word galactic. So that has to do with the galaxies, and when you went into all of this knowledge and wisdom and understanding concerning the self, reflecting on the prophet stating, study the self. When you have studied the self well and would ask what to study next, study the self. So this is what it's all about, but for me, I have to, and I know this, I have to really, really focus on being patient. You know what I mean? Because, I'm always want to jump to this or jump to that and move too quickly. And then I miss something. You know what I mean? But I held on and thus far, you know what I mean? And so I can see the beauty in what we have here in this North American government. You know what I mean? I could just only say, I don't know what I should say. I sympathize, but I just hope that all those that was here at one time and decided that they want to run with their little particular portion, you know what I mean? Think that that was it, you know, that they would make it back to this North American government. Because as we know, anything that you create outside of this government belongs to the European. So why would we want to continue to uplift them when they brought us down so low? You know what I mean? But it's our job. You know, the prophet brought us everything to take to save us as a nation of people. And our Morris American government is making sure, you know what I mean, that we do that. But you have to do that here in this Morris American government. You know, all of those on outside, you know, looking on from, you know, the internet or whatever, you know what I mean? Come to this Morris American government. I don't know whether you've already or you're considering it, proclaiming your nationality, you know, but this is where you, in our Morris American government, that you proclaim your nationality. There's a law, there's instructions from the prophet, and everything that the prophet spoke was spirit. And this is where we are. And you know, I can go on and on because it just reiterates to me what I need to do. You know what I mean? To continue to be patient, to continue to listen, and to focus. You know what I mean, on these teachings. And you know, I got those lessons, and I definitely intend. And I don't, and I'm not the one. I don't like to be that way or speak like that to what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? And I should do. Might, shoulda, woulda, called. You know, I just like to, you know, just remain calm and do what's needed to be done. You know what I mean? The next best thing, next right thing. And I've learned that. You know, talking about virtue. When I came into the North American government, I wasn't thinking about no virtue. I just wanted to get out of hell, so to speak, of the USA. You know what I mean? But as I purify myself, you know what I mean, I'm more comfortable at being virtuous. You know what I mean? Being kind hearted. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Just trying to uplift others as I uplift myself, like that social duties. When we strive to uplift others, we uplift ourselves. You know what I mean? And I just say gratitude to you, National Sister Grand Sheik, for all that you do. And I see my National Grand camera was on, and but to the National Grand Sheik, I appreciate all the instruction that you gave me when we had that 12 departments class. You know what I mean? I didn't give you enough, uh, say, honors for that because, you know, I got to see a master in action. And I say gratitude. And so, in order to get back to that 12 departments, that means I'm going to have to make sure I go through that Holy Day class again. You know what I mean? And again. And so, I just want to say gratitude to all of my officials. You know what I mean? Because you got the hearts of, I mean, it's can't be spoken in words, so to speak. You know what I mean? And so I'm just so grateful, and gratitude for allowing me to speak. Islam and peace.
Yes, sir. Islam and peace, brother. Yep. Each and every one of us most definitely have an ordinance in that divine ministry document, you know, that we receive. And it most definitely entails, you know, that we, as a people, so to speak, um, we have a job to do, you know. And so once we get into that special aspect of it, and we can go into a real uh, high point of elevation, then we're going to find exactly what we here for, so to speak. You know, we're going to be able to do the work that we were called to do, you know, and we can utilize um, this talent that we have to uplift fallen humanity, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? We have been called to teach our people, to guide them, to lead them, to elevate them, so to speak, and bring them into the heights of their divinity. Once we able to get into that special aspect, man, it ain't gonna be nothing that we can accomplish as a people, so to speak. And that's the key. We have indeed a grand work ahead of us. Allah is most definitely leading on, and victory is sure. And so we encourage our family to continue to do the work, continue to be the message that we bring, and just do our part. But really look into this special measure where we actually have this special work to be done, because that's where we're going to be able to really uplift our condition. Because most of our people don't know who they are. Our people don't know that they are the return of the ancient ones. We don't just say this to say it. We are literally a return of the ancient one. So we have to find ourselves, and be uplifted from the state in which we have failed. And then all will be well. Praise be to Allah, Islamism without the schism. So at this particular time, we're going to call on our sister Curta Bay, so that she can take us into, the elevations of third heaven. Islam, you there, goddess and queen?
Islam, I am here. Islam, 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 family. January 15th, 1929. A warning from the Prophet to be read at every meeting. I hereby inform all citizens that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any citizen or group of citizens who hold malicious feelings toward the government or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the government is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the government. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of Prophet Noble Jew Ali. A holy covenant of the Asiatic nations. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam, Islam, Islam. This meeting is officially adjourned according to Act 2. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Go in peace, Moors, Islam. Great class.
Great class. Gratitude, Morris King. Gratitude.
Islamism without the schism.
Without the
Good.
Islamism without the schism. That's right.
Islam.
Great class.
Islam. We love you, Moors.
We love you too.
Oh,
Lord. We love you. Islam.
Wonderful.
All right. Y'all know we going to see you in Sunday school.
Islam.
Islam.
Praise Allah.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, family.
See you then.
See ya.
Islam.
Right.
Islam. Look at the family.
That's right. Islam.
How do you leave?
All right. We want to give honors to our family out there in Facebook. We give honors to all of y'all in YouTube as well. So peace and love, family, for showing up. Facebook user, Brother Sam, as our sheik would call you. We see you, Mo. Cali Cuz, Yakub, El Hamid, Gamma Bay, Noble Brian, Cameron. Peace and love, family. We'll see y'all in the next session. Peace.